Chapter 1248. His speed was so fast that he was at the peak of the eighth heaven venerable realm. No one of the same cultivation level would be able to catch up to him. It seemed that the middle-aged assassin had used a secret technique to escape. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. 2 balls of black flames surged out of his eyes and instantly flew into the sky. Then the 2 balls of flames rapidly enlarged in the void and burned all over the sky. Finally, they formed a black flame cage that instantly enveloped the middle-aged assassin. Boom! 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 An earth-shattering explosion sounded. A black cage floated in the void and trapped the middle-aged assassin. Lin Xian took a step forward and instantly arrived outside the cage. Even if you kill me, you won't get any information. The middle-aged assassin gritted his teeth. His voice was filled with determination. As an assassin, his life was not the most important thing. Keeping secrets was the most important thing. Lin Xian did not ask any more questions. With a thought, a black flame hand appeared from the black cage and grabbed the middle-aged assassin's head. In the next moment, Lin Xian flipped his palm, and a small black cauldron appeared in his palm. Beast Slave Seal. The black light flickered and instantly disappeared between the middle-aged assassin's brows. Soon, the middle-aged assassin gave up resisting and floated in the void like a puppet. Lin Xian did not kill him. Instead, he planted a beast slave seal on him and made him a complete slave. The flames that filled the sky disappeared and returned to Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian also put his hands behind his back. He had no intention of attacking again. At this moment, there were no obstacles around the middle-aged assassin. However, he did not escape. Not only that, but the black fog around his body dissipated, revealing his true appearance. It was a middle-aged man with a thin face. He wore a set of black soft armor with tiny needles on it. At this moment, the middle-aged man looked at Lin Xian and shouted respectfully, "Greetings, master." Lin Xian nodded slightly. "Return to your organization and gather information for me. Remember, don't expose yourself and don't let Ling Feng become suspicious." "Yes, I understand." The middle-aged man nodded respectfully. If one looked closely, they would find that her expression was normal, and there were no signs of her being manipulated. This was the power of the 10,000 beasting. With Lin Xian's current beast slave seal, no one below the king level could detect it. "All right, you can go." Lin Xian waved his hand. After that, the middle-aged assassin bowed respectfully again, and then his body turned into a wisp of smoke and disappeared in the air. After seeing the middle-aged assassin leave, Lin Xian also returned to the back of the golden-feathered divine eagle. "All right, the trouble has been dealt with. Let's go." Lin Xian sat down cross-legged. "Ah, all right." Only then did Yu Fei recover from his shock. With a puzzled expression, he asked, "Brother Xian, are we really going to let that person go?" "Don't worry, he's my man now. Nothing will go wrong." Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. Yu Fei nodded. Although he didn't understand, he believed in Lin Xian. Therefore, in the next moment, he activated his spirit energy again and condensed it into a palace. Then he urged the golden-feathered divine eagle to continue flying. Yu Fei didn't understand, but the 9th elder and the 10th elder, who were hiding in the dark, were extremely shocked. Did the young master control that assassin just now? It should be. Judging from the assassin's respectful manner and his attitude towards the young master, he definitely controlled him. Otherwise, the young master wouldn't have let him go. The 10th elder also took a deep breath. Isn't this method of control a little too terrifying? Even an 8th heaven venerable realm martial artist couldn't resist at all. Don't think about it. The young master is too mysterious. We just need to loyally assist the young master. The 9th elder was indeed very excited. After seeing Lin Xian's methods, his confidence increased greatly. The group of people quickly flew towards the Shun family's temporary imperial residence. At the same time, the mysterious middle-aged man also returned to the Skynet organization. Perhaps no one would have thought that the famous assassin of the Shui you would have an organization like this. This was a lively street with shops everywhere. The people who came and went were all ordinary people. Even if there were martial artists, they were all weak martial artists. Venerables were very rare. It could be said that this was a very ordinary town. However, the middle-aged assassin landed on the street. At this moment, the black soft armor on his body had disappeared and was replaced by ordinary clothes. Not only that, but he had also changed from a murderous god of slaughter to an ordinary person. Perhaps no one would think that he was an assassin of the Skynet organization. The middle-aged assassin, Falcon, entered a very ordinary shop at this moment. It was a tailor's shop. There were only a dim-sighted old man and a 15 or 16-year-old boy inside. When the two of them saw the middle-aged man, Falcon, walk in, they nodded slightly and no longer paid attention to him. Falcon also nodded slightly. He quickly passed through the shop and came to the backyard. Soon he walked in front of a withered willow tree in the backyard. With a slap of his hand, a black hole appeared on the ground. Without any hesitation, Falcon leaped into the black hole. In the next moment, the black hole disappeared and the ground returned to normal. Falcon, who entered the black hole, seemed to have been teleported by a formation and arrived at an extremely mysterious place. This was the Skynet organization. Falcon, didn't you go on a mission? Why are you back so soon? Falcon, who was originally normal, became weak at this moment. There was still blood gushing out of his body as he crazily shouted. The mission failed. Quickly informed Prince Ling Feng. Seeing Falcon on the verge of collapse, the surrounding assassins all panicked. They all rushed forward to rescue him. Falcon, are you okay? He's seriously injured. Quickly send him for treatment. The group of people did not suspect anything. They thought that the mission had failed and Falcon was seriously injured. On the other hand, Falcon buried his face deep into the darkness, but the corners of his mouth revealed a strange smile. Half a month later, Lin Xian and his group arrived at the Windy Nation. This was also an extremely powerful nation in the Tianwu continent. The royal family of the Windy Nation was also a top 6th grade sect. The Shun family's headquarters was not in the Windy Nation, but Shun Lingchuan was here. Shun Lingchuan was the 9th son of the Shun family's head. He was also an elder who held real power in the Shin family. His cultivation had reached the 9th level of the Venerable Realm. He also held many important resources of the Shun family. It could be said that he was an important figure in the Shun family, and he was also Shen Jingqiu's father. This time, Shen Jingqiu's birthday party was held in the Windy Nation. After Lin Xian and his group arrived at the Windy Nation, they felt the festive atmosphere. In the sky, rare beasts flew, and on the ground, there were many chariots galloping. On these rare beasts sat powerful warriors. Obviously, they were warriors who had come from all over the Tianwu continent to participate in the birthday party. These people were all rushing in one direction, and that direction was also the destination of Lin Xian and his group. Chapter 1249. Blue Ice City. The atmosphere in the city was very lively, and the people who came and went were all aristocrats. The 9th elder had already made the necessary arrangements, so Lin Xian was given the best and most luxurious residence in the city as soon as he arrived. This was the power of the Palace of Gods of War, the power of the House of Kings. Lin Xian and the others stayed temporarily, waiting for the banquet to start. During this time, Yu Fei didn't stay idle and began to gather information in the city. Brother Xian, I'm almost done. Yu Fei organized the information and sent it to Lin Xian. Although there are quite a few families here, there are only a few families that have a chance of getting married. Among them, Wu Zun sent a young man called Duan Fei, who is said to be the 5th young master of the Duan family. Mary Woods sent the 7th young master, and the Morong family sent the 6th young master. The Divine Bird Palace sent the 2nd Holy Son. The Deity Sword Manor sent the 3rd Holy Son. Hearing the report, Lin Xian nodded slightly. These families were probably the most powerful and had the most hope of marriage with the Shen family. The other families didn't have much hope, and these people didn't come here for marriage, but to find their own forces to strengthen their families. It could be said that this birthday banquet was basically an exchange between the major forces, an exchange between the younger generation. These people actually treated Jingqiu's birthday banquet as a business deal, and they even want marriage? How despicable! Lin Xian snorted. A bunch of trash. How can they be worthy of Jingqiu? Soon, the day of the birthday banquet arrived. Lin Xian brought Yu Fei, the 9th elder, and the others out of the palace, and walked towards the Shen family's mansion. The road was bustling with people, and it was very lively. Along the way, the 9th elder muttered to Lin Xian, "Young master, we're not in a good situation now, so don't make any enemies at the banquet." "I know." Lin Xian nodded helplessly. He knew that the Palace of Gods of War was not in a good state right now. It was not good to make enemies. Therefore, he wouldn't take the initiative to provoke others. But if someone dared to provoke him, then sorry. Just as they were talking, a deep sound came from behind them. It was like thunder, and then the whole ground began to tremble. Bang, 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 bang. It was as if the earth was about to split open. The surrounding warriors also turned their heads, and their expressions changed drastically. F***CK, get out of the way. Berserk beast. The group of people quickly retreated, opening up a path. It turned out that there was a huge golden lion running over from behind. It was an ancient beast. Its entire body was golden, as if it was made of gold. It was extraordinarily mighty. On the back of the golden lion sat a young man with an arrogant look on his face. Originally, there were many people on this road, so no one was riding on their mounts. However, the young man had no scruples as he led the golden lion on a rampage. There were even quite a few martial artists who were too slow and were sent flying by him. The golden lion roared in all directions and galloped like lightning. In the end, it actually ran toward Lin Xian and the others. Wherever he passed, countless strong wind blades were created. They were extremely sharp, cutting out terrifying cracks on the ground. Many of the wind blades even flew toward Lin Xian. Oh no! Yu Fei's expression changed drastically. He could feel at least 10 wind blades flying toward them. Then his expression changed, and he looked extremely furious. The golden lion was unusually powerful. It had reached the level of an 8-star demon general, which was equivalent to an 8-star honorable warrior, or even stronger. Such a demonic beast was abnormally terrifying. Ordinary warriors wouldn't dare to provoke it. Now, they were just walking peacefully, but the other party was finding trouble with them for no reason. Lin Xian's expression was normal. He didn't have any intention to intervene because such a small matter didn't require him to. Sure enough, the 9th elder snorted coldly. A powerful aura surged from his body. It was like an invisible hand that slapped to the side. Instantly, the dozens of wind blades were sent flying. However, their expressions didn't ease because the golden lion leaped over their heads and landed in front of them, blocking the entire street. When Yu Fei and the others saw the young man on top of the golden toilet paper, their expressions immediately darkened. Duan Fei, the 5th young master of the Duan clan. He was also the person sent by the Martial Honorable to form a marriage alliance with the Shen family. Hearing Yu Fei's voice transmission, Lin Xian's expression also darkened. He didn't expect to meet the other party here. However, before he could say anything, someone beside him roared in advance. "Who are you? How dare you commit murder on the street and injure the disciples of the Xinqing clan?" A burly man roared crazily. As it turned out, that stretch of wind blades earlier not only attacked Lin Xian, It also enveloped all the martial artists in the vicinity. Therefore, many people were injured now. The wind blades were not simple. They were released by the Golden Lion and could be said to be extremely terrifying. Therefore, the ordinary martial artists were all injured by the wind blades. Among them, many disciples of the Shinching clan were also injured by the wind blades. Therefore, the burly man was so angry. When the surrounding martial artists heard the burly man's roar, they were also shocked. The Shinching clan is actually a 6th-rank sect. I didn't expect it to be them. It seems like this matter is going to be troublesome. Yeah, the Shinching clan is a 6th-rank sect. Moreover, they have the Shinching 13 guardians in their sect. They are very powerful. Look at the burly man's aura. He's very powerful. I'm afraid he's one of the 13 guardians. It's possible. Things are going to get serious. The young man riding the Golden Lion is probably not simple. After all, not many forces would dare to use an 8-star demon general as a mount. Yeah, he's at least a disciple of a 6th-rank sect. It seems like there will be a show to watch this time. The crowd hid in the distance and discussed animatedly. However, at this moment, a disdainful voice sounded from behind. The Shinching clan is nothing. How dare you provoke our young Master Duan? You must be tired of living. As he spoke, a group of people riding powerful demon beasts quickly came from behind and stopped beside the Golden Lion. Then these martial artists all said respectfully to the young man riding the Golden Lion, "Fifth young master, are you okay? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine. How could a bunch of trash hurt me?" The young man looked arrogant and sneered disdainfully. The surrounding martial artists were unusually angry. First, they were attacked for no reason. Now they were called trash. How could they not be angry? However, the other party's group was too big. They did not dare to fight back. However, the burly man from the Shinching clan did not seem to have such concerns. He had a bad temper to begin with. Moreover, he had just been attacked. Now that he was being humiliated, how could he endure it? "You're courting death. Who are you calling trash? Little bastard, believe it or not, I'll cut your head off and kick it like a ball." Although the burly man knew that the other party's identity was extraordinary, he could not hold it in any more. "How dare you? You're courting death." Duan Fei did not speak. The martial artists beside him were all furious. Chapter 1250. You must be tired of living. Do you know who our young master is? How dare you speak so rudely? Kneel down and cut off your tongue. Then I can spare your life. If you offend us, your Shinching clan will die a horrible death. On the Golden Lion, Duan Fei sneered. "Did you hear that? Hurry up and do as I say. Are you waiting for your clan to be destroyed? Humph, how arrogant. I don't think you can destroy my Shinching clan." The burly man snorted coldly. A powerful aura erupted from his body. The pressure of an 8th heaven supremacy enveloped the surroundings. "Humph! You're only an 8th heaven supremacy. You're a peerless expert in the eyes of ordinary people, but you're nothing to us. I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and accept your death. You're asking for death." The burly man from Shinching clan was enraged. He had never been insulted like that. Hence, he stomped his foot and charged forward like a wild beast. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Beside Duan Fei, an elder in gray robes exuded killing intent. However, Duan Fei waved his hand and stopped the elder in gray robes. "Elder, there's no need for you to do it. Let me do it. I haven't exercised for a long time. Today I'll play with him." As soon as he finished speaking, Duan Fei's figure flashed and flew forward like a ghost. In an instant, he arrived in front of the burly man. The burly man from Shinching clan was overjoyed. He didn't expect Duan Fei to be so arrogant as to fight him alone. This time, he would let Duan Fei know how powerful he was. Raging waves. The burly man threw out a punch. The terrifying fist force surged out like a wave. The power contained in the punch was extremely strong. A seventh heaven supremacy would probably be blown apart immediately. However, Duan Fei sneered. His body became extremely strange. In an instant, he dodged the fist shadows that filled the sky. At the same time, he stretched out his palm and slapped the burly man. Slap! The crisp sound of a slap was heard. Then the burly man from Xinqing clan trembled and retreated. The fist shadows that filled the sky instantly disappeared. The burly man also retreated in a sorry state. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. There was a clear handprint on half of his face. What? How is that possible? He dodged it. Seeing this scene, everyone around was stunned. Originally, they were very dissatisfied with Duan Fei's group because the other party's attitude was too arrogant and actually insulted all of them. However, none of them dared to make a move. Fortunately, the big man from the Xinqing clan had made a move. Everyone was overjoyed, thinking that the burly man would be able to teach him a lesson. However, he did not expect that arrogant young man to be so powerful. With just one move, he was able to force the big man from the Xinqing clan to retreat. Impossible! How could you break my fist technique? The muscular man from the Xinqing sect also had a look of disbelief on his face. A moment later, he gritted his teeth and charged forward again. However, Duan Fei only sneered in disdain. His body disappeared like a ghost, and the crisp sound of a slap rang out once again. The burly man was sent flying again, and a bright red palm print appeared on the left side of his face. I already told you that you're trash, but you didn't believe me. Duan Fei said disdainfully, "Today I'll properly teach you how trash should speak." After saying that, his figure flashed again, and he quickly flew forward. Not good. Seeing Duan Fei's actions, the burly man from the Xinqing sect's expression changed drastically. In the next moment, he roared, "Fleetfoot stride!" Now, he did not dare to fight against Duan Fei because Duan Fei's strength far surpassed his. Therefore, he immediately used the Fleetfoot stride. Although the burly man had a huge body and was as steady as a mountain, when he used the Fleetfoot stride, his speed was also extremely fast. Most people present could not even see his trajectory clearly. However, Duan Fei sneered, "Competing with me in speed? You're really looking for death." He sneered, and then his expression became even more blurry. The palm in his hand also slapped down wildly. Slap, slap. A series of slaps rang out. The burly man kept retreating until he finally crashed into a wall. His entire face was completely swollen like a pig's head. Elder. The Xinqing sect disciples were so frightened that their expressions changed drastically. They screamed crazily, and the burly man was so angry that he went crazy. Disgrace. This was definitely a disgrace. Duan Fei was stronger than him. He could have won with one move, but he did not do so. Instead, he kept slapping him. Not only was he slapping his face, but he was also slapping the Xinqing sect's face. The surrounding people were also extremely shocked. They did not dare to speak. There was nothing they could do. Even an 8th Heaven Venerable was slapped repeatedly. They were no match for him. How dare you insult the Xinqing sect? I'll fight it out with you. The disciples who were tracking Duan Fei's movements finally could not hold it in anymore. They charged forward as if they had gone crazy. Stop, come back quickly. The burly man roared crazily. He knew how powerful Duan Fei was. His disciples were no match for him at all. If they charged forward now, they would undoubtedly die for nothing. However, those disciples did not stop at all as if they had gone crazy. Humph, a bunch of ants dare to behave atrociously in front of me. Duan Fei was very disdainful. He raised his finger, and several cold rays of light flew out like lightning. No. Seeing this, the burly man let out a cry of despair. The cold rays of light were so powerful that no one below the 8th Heaven Venerable Realm could withstand them. The cold rays of light were like ice blades, emitting a shocking, murderous aura. As soon as the aura was released, everyone was shocked. Even the crazy disciples trembled and regained their senses. When they saw the cold rays of light flying towards them, their faces were filled with despair. However, they could not dodge at all. Just as the disciples were about to die, the void trembled. An invisible hand seemed to form in the air and instantly slapped the cold rays of light away. What? He's not dead. Someone attacked. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. The burly man from the Xinqing sect also heaved a sigh of relief. However, Duan Fei's face darkened. Someone actually dared to attack him in front of him. He must have a death wish. In the next moment, his eyes were like lightning as he stared at Lin Xian. "You reckless fool! How dare you attack me in front of me? Break your arms, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, you and the people around you will all die." Hearing this, the martial artists around Lin Xian were abnormally terrified. Their eyes were filled with fear. However, Lin Xian did not pay attention to him at all. Instead, he turned to the disciples of the Xinqing sect and asked, "Are you all okay?" "Thank you for saving us, young hero. We're fine." The disciples looked at Lin Xian with gratitude. The burly man kept thanking him. "Thank you, young master. Thank you, young master." Seeing that Lin Xian ignored him, Duan Fei's face became extremely gloomy. He looked at the people of the Xinqing sect and then revealed a sinister smile. "Don't think that you can avoid this just because someone saved you. Today I'm not happy, so all of you must die. I admit that you're powerful. However, the Xinqing sect is not to be trifled with. If we really fight, I guarantee that you won't have any advantage. How dare you threaten us?" The guards beside Duan Fei sneered. "Let me tell you, we're from the palace of Ares. Our young master is the 5th young master of the palace of Ares." Chapter 1251. How dare you threaten us? The guards beside Duan Fei sneered. "Let me tell you, we are from the palace of Ares, and our young master is the 5th young master of the palace of Ares. Do you think that with our status, we would be afraid of the Xinqing sect? What a joke! What, the palace of Ares? They are from the palace of Ares." The surrounding crowd was shocked, but the warriors from the Xinqing sect were in despair. The Xinqing sect was indeed a powerful 6th-grade sect and did not fear other factions. However, they had no hope against the palace of Ares. The palace of Ares was the house of kings, an existence above any other faction. No one expected that the arrogant young man before them was from the palace of Ares. Since when did the palace of Ares have such scum? Why didn't I know? At that moment, Lin Xian spoke. "Scum, like you shouldn't tarnish the reputation of the palace of Ares. We don't have trash like you. What did you say? Say it again." Duan Fei was enraged. "I'm not from the palace of Ares? Ha ha! I'm dying of laughter." The surrounding guards sneered. They looked at Lin Xian as if they were looking at a dead man. "Kid, I think your head was kicked by a donkey. How dare you say that we're not from the palace of Ares? What a joke! Open your dog eyes and see what this is." A few of the guards retracted the light on their bodies, revealing black armor. On the armor, there was a blade and a sword that crossed each other. It was the totem of the palace of Ares. That's the symbol of the palace of Ares. They really are from the palace of Ares. At first, the crowd was still doubtful when they heard Lin Xian's words. However, when they saw the symbol on Duan Fei and the others, they were all in despair. No one dared to impersonate the symbol of the palace of Ares. However, the 9th elder snorted. "How dare you talk back to the young master? Slap them." "Young master? What?" The guards beside Duan Fei sneered. However, before they could finish their words, they were sent flying by a huge palm of light. The people who had spoken rudely were all sent flying. Their faces were swollen like a pig's head, and all their teeth had fallen out. "How dare you hit us? You dare to attack the palace of gods of war." The group of people crawled up from the ground, looking extremely ferocious. In front of the young master, "You have no right to call yourselves members of the palace of gods of war." The ninth elder's voice was cold with a strong killing intent. "Young master?" Duan Fei was taken aback. Then, as if he had recalled something, he let out a cold laugh. "So it's you? You still dare to show up? You're courting death." Duan Fei sneered. He now knew Lin Xian's identity. "Originally, we were still thinking about how to find you, but we didn't expect you to come out on your own, and even come here to die. The heavens are helping me." "Fifth young master, are you saying that this brat is that person?" The guards around Duan Fei were also shocked. "Ha ha ha! Let me kill him to prevent future troubles." Many people revealed murderous looks. "There's no need for that. I'll do it myself." Duan Fei grinned savagely. "Of course, I have to kill such a good prey myself." After saying that, he stood out again and stared at Lin Xian. In the next moment, his entire person became blurry and turned into a ray of light. The palm in his hand was raised high and slapped toward Lin Xian. It looked like he wanted to repeat his previous action and slap Lin Xian a few times. When the surrounding cultivators saw this scene, they shook their heads and sighed. In their opinion, Lin Xian was going to be unlucky. One had to know that Duan Fei was someone who could even defeat an 8th level supremacy, let alone a 7th level supremacy like Lin Xian. But this time they were wrong. Lin Xian looked at Duan Fei, who was flying toward him, and remained as still as a mountain. He only attacked when Duan Fei was close. This attack was like a bolt of lightning, swift to the extreme. Slap! A crisp slap sounded, and that sound made everyone's hearts tremble violently. However, the one who was hit was not Lin Xian, but Duan Fei. Duan Fei screamed and flew out. Half of his face was swollen, and all his teeth were broken. What? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned and in disbelief. Even the guards that Duan Fei brought were stunned, as if they had seen a ghost. You dare hit me?" Duan Fei shook his head frantically. "Impossible, how could you hit me? I don't believe it." And the answer he got was another slap. Slap, slap, slap. A crisp sound rang out, and Duan Fei flew up like a top again. In the end, his entire face was swollen like a pig's head, and he did not look human at all. I'm going to kill you." Duan Fei was mad with anger. He was the 5th young master of the Duan family. When had he ever been humiliated like this? The surrounding cultivators were also shocked and in disbelief. One had to know that Duan Fei was very terrifying. Previously, such a powerful Xinqing sect expert had been defeated by him, but now he was being beaten by a 7th level supremacy. This was unbelievable. Duan Fei could not take it anymore, so he charged at Lin Xian again. You don't know what's good for you." Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a hint of killing intent appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, a trace of lightning surged out of his fingertip, quickly forming a sword chi that slashed forward. Poof! The lightning sword pierced through Duan Fei's heart, nailing him to the ground. Ah! Duan Fei screamed in pain, his eyes filled with fear. He did not expect Lin Xian to be able to kill him in one move. No. Can. Boom! Duan Fei's head tilted, and he died. It was a pity that he did not believe that Lin Xian could kill him, so he did not even activate his defensive armor. This scene shocked everyone. The burly man from the Xinqing sect's mind went blank. He could not believe it. Was this really a 7th level supremacy? It was too terrifying. The surrounding people were even more terrified. The young master of the Duan family was dead. This was a shocking event. 5th young master. The people from the Duan family went crazy and quickly came to Duan Fei's side. Bang! One of the guards pulled out the lightning sword, while the others took out pills and elixirs in an attempt to save Duan Fei. However, this sword contained the burly man's sword soul and was extremely powerful. The moment it pierced through, it destroyed Duan Fei's life force. Now, even the Daluo golden pill could not save him. Ah! The guards shouted crazily with ferocious expressions. Brat, you dare to kill the fifth young master. You're dead meat. You're all going to die. I'll use your blood to pay tribute to the fifth young master. The group of guards roared angrily. Among them, the gray-robed elder's hair was flying, and his entire body was filled with killing intent. He was Duan Fei's guardian and was responsible for his safety. However, now that his master had been killed, he could not report to his superiors. Therefore, now he had to kill Lin Xian to atone for his sins. With a roar, the gray-robed elder walked over quickly like a god of death. On the side, the golden lion also roared. Its eyes were extremely cold as it stared at Lin Xian. In the next moment, it raised its huge environmental beast claw and slapped at Lin Xian. Ah! The surrounding people screamed. A powerful 8th level supremacy and a terrifying 8-star fiend general were attacking Lin Xian together. Chapter 1252. Everyone screamed. A powerful 8th heaven supremacy and a terrifying 8-star demon general were charging towards Lin Xian at the same time. The gray-robed elder was extremely powerful and was an extremely powerful existence even among 8th heaven supremacies. The golden lion beside him was even more terrifying. Probably not many 8th heaven supremacies could fight against it. At this moment, these two terrifying existences were charging towards Lin Xian at the same time, causing everyone's expression to change. However, Lin Xian's expression was normal. He waved his arms and faced the enemy. A dazzling sword chi appeared on his left hand and slashed towards the gray-robed elder like a peerless divine sword. On the other hand, he executed the dragon-capturing hand with his right hand. Two true, dragon-like, spiritual energy hands rushed forward rapidly. Boom! The sword chi was sharp and carried boundless blood-red, killing intent. It was extremely violent and instantly slashed the gray-robed elder's body, causing a loud explosion. Although the gray-robed elder was powerful, he had no choice but to dodge the sword chi. His body retreated rapidly like a ghost. What? He was repelled. Everyone was shocked and could not believe that such a powerful gray-robed elder was actually repelled with a single strike. However, what shocked them even more was yet to come. The dragon-capturing hand that Lin Xian executed transformed into two huge dragons and quickly coiled around the golden lion. Roar! The golden lion roared crazily. The golden blood on its body soared into the sky and dyed the entire sky red. The powerful force caused the entire city to tremble. However, even so, it was still unable to break free from the dragon-capturing hand's restraint and was tightly trapped by the two huge dragons. Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. That was an 8-star demon general. Moreover, it was an ancient mutated beast like the golden lion. It was extremely powerful. No 8th heaven supremacies could fight against it. Perhaps only 9th heaven supremacies could subdue it. However, a 7th heaven youth had trapped the golden lion with a single strike. This was simply too shocking. Although the Duan family's martial artists were furious, they were all stunned when they saw this scene. They did not know what to do. The gray-robed elder stabilized himself, and a deep fear appeared in his eyes. He did not expect the other party to be so strong that he could withstand both his and the golden lion's attacks at the same time. This wasn't good news for them. After all, there were two elders from the palace of war gods following behind him. Both of them were extremely powerful existences. Even he did not have any confidence in defeating them. Therefore, the gray-robed elder snorted coldly and decided to retreat. He would wait until he gathered more people. Anyway, he knew that Lin Xian was going to attend the Shen family's birthday party. As long as he brought his men here before the party ended, he would definitely be able to kill Lin Xian. Go! The gray-robed elder waved his hand and led a few powerful guards to rescue the golden lion. Then he flew out of the city. Bang, bang, bang. But soon they were bounced back. Countless ripples appeared in the originally transparent void. It was as if an invisible wall had trapped them. What's the situation? The gray-robed old man's face was gloomy as he had a bad premonition. The surrounding warriors were also alarmed. Elder, it's not good. We're trapped here. There are invisible walls in all directions. What? He dared to trap us. Hearing this, the gray-robed elder was shocked. Stop struggling. You won't be able to break this array in a short period of time, Lin Xian said coldly. Under his feet, there were mysterious inscriptions spreading in all directions. He was the one who had set up the invisible array. At this moment, the surrounding warriors had already retreated out of fear. Therefore, only the Duan family, Lin Xian, and the rest were in the array. Brat, you're too arrogant. Although you had the upper hand just now, it doesn't mean that you can kill us. The gray-robed elder roared angrily. Whether I can or can't, we'll know once we try. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He had no intention of letting these people go. Elder, what should we do? The Duan family warriors asked. This array is indeed strange. If we forcefully break it, it won't be completed in a short period of time. Therefore, what we need to do now is to fight with the other party. I'm afraid that the Shen family has already found out about the commotion here. Don't worry. As long as we wait for the Shen family to arrive, we will be safe. Don't forget that the Shen family is a friend of the Duan family. Yes, this is the Shen family's territory. That brat won't dare to do anything. Hearing the gray-robed elder's words, the Duan family warriors were relieved. Then they looked at Lin Xian with ferocious expressions. I don't believe that Brat can resist all of us, no matter how strong he is. Why don't we take this opportunity to kill him? Okay, the gray-robed elder nodded. He also decided to give it a try. Everyone listened to my command. Attack! When the 15 Duan family warriors heard the command, they immediately drew their swords and sabers. They exploded with powerful auras and quickly charged towards Lin Xian. Young master, seeing the warriors charging towards them, the 9th elder shouted softly. However, Lin Xian shook his head slightly. No need. I'll do it myself. Hearing this, the 9th elder and the 10th elder nodded and retreated to the back. Previously, they were still worried about Lin Xian. However, after the battle just now, they were not worried at all. This was because they now knew that Lin Xian was extremely powerful. No one in the 8th heaven of the honorable realm could hurt him. Seeing that Lin Xian was attacking alone, the 15 Duan family warriors immediately revealed sinister smiles. They were not ordinary warriors. They were all above the 7th heaven of the honorable realm. Many of them had even reached the peak of the 7th heaven, although their strength was not comparable to an 8th heaven of the honorable realm. They were a team and could perform powerful array techniques. It could be said that they were the elites of the Duan family. The 15 of them kept changing their positions in the air and formed a strange array. They quickly charged towards Lin Xian. At the same time, the sabers and swords in everyone's hands erupted with dazzling light as they slashed out quickly. The 15 rays of light were extremely bright, like rainbows. With the support of the array, their power was even more terrifying. Even an 8th heaven of the honorable realm would not dare to take it head-on. Not only that, the Golden Lion Elder and the Gray-Robed Elder did not hold back either. Instead, they quickly released 2 terrifying attacks. The gray-robed elder released a spiral-shaped ray of light that easily tore through the void. It carried a biting, cold, killing intent. On the other side, the Golden Lion Elder's vital energy and blood soared into the sky. He condensed into a golden lion's shadow in the air and quickly pounced towards Lin Xian. It could be said that at this moment, endless killing moves surrounded Lin Xian from all directions. The Duan family? It's time to collect some interest. Lin Xian muttered. His eyes shone with an extremely sharp light. At the same time, a strange black flame flashed across them. In the next moment, the great dragon sword soul, the blood sword inheritance, and the black flame martial soul in his body circulated together and erupted with terrifying energy. With a clang, the Lone Star sword flew up by itself and landed in Lin Xian's hand. An invisible sword, qi, pierced through the sky. Chapter 1253. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by a boundless sea of blood. Upon closer inspection, one would realize that the sea of blood was formed by streaks of blood-colored sword qi. Not only that, but there were also countless black flames in the sea of blood. They danced and emitted a terrifying heat. Even those martial artists outside the array formation felt a temperature that made them tremble. Kill! With a roar, Lin Xian waved his arm. The Lone Star sword in his hand emitted a dazzling sword radiance as he slashed forward. The sea of blood surged. The sword radiance was like a blood-colored dragon that roared in all directions. In an instant, the attacks that flew towards Lin Xian from all directions were quickly melted by the sea of blood and black flames. Not only that, everything in the path of the sword qi began to burn. Whether it was the 15 terrifying attacks, the gray-robed elder's sword qi, or the golden lion's shadow, all of them were burning. It was a shocking scene. Although no one could hear it, they could imagine it. Not only that, but there were also countless screams. Among them, 7 warriors were swept by the blood-colored sword and immediately burned. They only had time to scream once before they were burned to ashes. Not only them, but even the armor on their bodies was burned to ashes, leaving no trace of it behind. It was as if they had never appeared. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered. The sword radiance in his hand flashed, and the sea of blood and black flames surrounded him. At this moment, his aura was fierce and murderous. He was like a peerless god of death with a terrifying killing intent that could crush everything. It was as if everything in the world had to bow down to him under this aura. What? He broke the Duan family's elite formation in an instant, and he killed half of them. How is this possible? The remaining warriors of the Duan family were horrified. Their eyes were filled with shock. Even the gray-robed elder's pupils constricted. The golden lion let out an uneasy roar. He's not human, he's a demon. Run! Someone screamed. Finally, the remaining warriors were scared. They turned and ran, not daring to fight anymore. They had long lost their previous arrogance. At this moment, they were like stray dogs trying to escape. There was nothing they could do about it. Lin Xian's attack was too terrifying, directly destroying all their confidence. Not to mention those people from the Duan clan. Even more than half of the martial artists outside were paralyzed on the ground at this moment, breaking out in cold sweat. Trying to run? Lin Xian's eyes flickered as boundless black flames strangely gushed out. In the next moment, the 8 fleeing figures froze on the spot. They found that their bodies were completely frozen and did not listen to their commands. Not only that, a terrifying and boundless feeling of panic rose from the bottom of their hearts. Whoosh! 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 In the next moment, their bodies suddenly burst into flames. Balls of black flames burned fiercely, blooming with hellish light. Not only their bodies, but even their armors and defenses were set ablaze, emitting cracking sounds. In the end, the 8 of them screamed miserably. Nothing was left behind, only a ball of flames rolling on the ground. In an instant, all 15 martial artists were annihilated. What? Impossible. How is this possible? The gray-robed elder's face turned ugly. Then he looked at the golden lion. "Don't hide your strength anymore. Hurry up and kill him." Roar. The golden lion roared furiously and raised its huge head. Then it quickly charged towards Lin Xian. It was like a small golden mountain. As it moved quickly, the entire ground buzzed and trembled. Not only that, with every step it took, the golden lion's aura became stronger. In the end, the golden aura that filled the sky dyed the entire sky golden yellow. Meanwhile, the golden lion's aura had also reached its peak. The huge golden palm slapped over and instantly turned into a small mountain. It descended from the sky and exploded the entire void. At the same time, 9 illusionary figures appeared behind the golden lion. They were like real ferocious beasts. Each of them was extremely powerful and could easily tear an 8th heaven supremacy apart. This time, the golden lion was truly enraged. Stars! Lin Xian's black hair fluttered as he pointed his arm towards the sky. Instantly, countless sword chi shot into the sky and collided with each other in the sky. There was a burst of dazzling light, forming countless star-like light balls. Then, under Lin Xian's control, they quickly descended. The stars in the sky descended with powerful energy and quickly bombarded the 9 illusionary figures. Immediately, the 9 golden lion illusionary figures were destroyed. Not only that, Lin Xian's palms continuously formed seals. Countless rays of light in the sky condensed again and formed a huge body. Cheong-chi. It's the ferocious beast Cheong-chi. In the distance, the martial artist screamed in horror when they saw the scene. He could actually summon Cheong-chi. That was too terrifying. Countless people were shocked. However, some 8th heaven supremacies shook their heads. It was not the real Cheong-chi, but a manifestation of spiritual energy. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, their hearts trembled violently. It was simply too shocking to be able to manifest such a terrifying, ferocious beast. In the sky, a vast sea of spiritual energy quickly condensed and formed the terrifying Cheong-chi. As soon as Cheong-chi appeared, it roared into the sky and quickly charged forward. Immediately, it broke the golden lion's huge golden claws. Roar! Blood splattered everywhere as the golden lion roared angrily. It had never thought that it would suffer such a huge loss in the hands of a human youth. Meanwhile, the surrounding people were stunned. In just one move, Cheong-chi had injured the golden lion. One had to know that it was just an illusion. How could it be so terrifying? The gray-robed elder's face turned pale. He knew how powerful the golden lion was. Even he could not defeat it. However, in just an instant, the golden lion's huge palm was broken. However, the golden lion was an ancient mutated beast after all. Moreover, it was powerful and had reached the level of an 8-star demon general. Although its claws were broken, its aura did not weaken. Instead, it became even more violent. With a roar that shook the heavens and the earth, the golden figure quickly pounced on Cheong-chi. Instantly, the 2 demonic beasts rapidly collided in the void, creating an earth-shattering roar as if thousands of lightning bolts had struck. Luckily, it blocked it. Seeing that the golden lion had gone crazy, the gray-robed elder heaved a sigh of relief. However, Lin Xian sneered. In the next instant, his palm changed again. Immediately, the void trembled and a huge shadow appeared. What? It appeared again. No way! How could his spiritual energy be so strong? Everyone was shocked and could not believe it. This was because they knew that it required an extremely large amount of spiritual energy to condense something like Cheong-chi. Perhaps even an 8th rank supremacy could only condense one. However, now, a 7th rank supremacy youth actually had the energy to condense something else. This was simply too shocking. Even the gray-robed elder's expression changed drastically. His heart skipped a beat. Oh no, we must not let him succeed. Chapter 1254. The gray-robed elder's expression changed drastically. His heart skipped a beat. Oh no, we can't let him succeed. It was already difficult for the Golden Lion to fight against a Cheung-chi. If the other party used another skill, the Golden Lion would not be able to withstand it. At that time he would be in danger. The gray-robed elder did not hesitate. He took out a half-earth-rank treasure from his storage ring. Then he turned into a gray light and stabbed at Lin Xian. The sword was silent and there was a dazzling light around it. If one did not pay attention, they would not have noticed it. In the sky, a huge shadow appeared. It was a giant golden bird. Its huge body covered the entire sky. Sky Rock, it's the ancient demonic beast Sky Rock. Everyone was shocked. Although they knew that it was only condensed by spiritual power, they were still shocked by the aura. It was too realistic. If one did not know the inside story, they would have thought that the ancient demonic beast Sky Rock had been resurrected. In fact, this was normal. The 9 changes of the firmament was an earth-rank martial art. Its power was unpredictable. Moreover, Lin Xian had the great dragon sword soul, which could simulate everything. Therefore, the ferocious beasts were no different from real ferocious beasts except that they were not alive. As soon as the Sky Rock appeared, it displayed a terrifying aura. Then, its sharp claws grabbed at the void and locked onto the gray-robed elder. In the next moment, a huge force surged toward the gray-robed elder and sent him flying. The half-earth-rank treasure was broken in half. The gray-robed elder was sent flying and smashed into the ground, forming a terrifying human-shaped pit. The terrifying sound shook the sky. The momentum had alarmed the martial artists of the Shun family. In fact, it was not only the martial artists of the Shun family. All the martial artists of the major forces in Blue Ice City were alarmed. At this moment, those people ran over to watch the show. However, no one made a move. The Shun family had also sent a few elders to rush over. These elders were furious. They did not expect that someone would dare to make a move in Blue Ice City. Obviously, this person did not take the Shin family seriously. I want to see who dares to be presumptuous here. However, in the next moment, a huge figure appeared in front of them. Following that, a terrifying aura appeared. What? The ancient demonic beast Sky Rock. How is this possible? The 3 elders of the Shin family were extremely shocked. They looked at each other and saw the fear in each other's eyes. After that, the 3 of them sped up at the same time. The moment the giant Sky Rock appeared, it sent the gray-robed elder flying. Then, it stared coldly at the Golden Lion. Instantly, the Golden Lion's fur all stood up. He felt a great sense of threat. With a furious roar, it fiercely slammed into the Cheung-chi, forcing it to retreat. However, Lin Xian did not give it a chance. Sky Rock transformation, golden sword. The seal on his palm changed as Lin Xian activated his killer move. Suddenly, the huge body of the heavenly Peng in the sky emitted a blazing light. Every feather on its body turned into a golden sword that pierced downwards. In an instant, the entire space was filled with golden swords. 108,000 swords were all stabbing towards the Golden Lion. The Golden Lion was extremely furious, but he couldn't resist at all. Soon, he was pierced by countless golden swords, nailing his huge body to the ground. Blood flowed, converging into a river, releasing a pungent, bloody smell. What? The Golden Lion is dead. Looking at this scene, everyone was shocked. Even the cultivators from the various major forces were extremely shocked. That was because the Golden Lion was extremely brave. Even they were not confident of defeating him, but now he was slaughtered so easily. The gray-robed elder was also stunned. His eyes were filled with fear. Now he finally understood that the young man in front of him was not someone they could provoke. However, at this moment, 3 powerful auras came from afar, accompanied by an angry roar. Who dares to cause trouble in Blue Ice City? Hearing this voice, the gray-robed elder was ecstatic. He shouted crazily, "Friends of the Shun family, save me!" The three powerful auras turned into three figures and stopped in the sky. They were a man, a woman, and an elder. The three of them were the elders sent by the Shun family. The three of them looked at the scene in front of them. Their pupils constricted, and their faces were filled with shock, especially the huge corpse of the golden lion, which shocked them. They naturally knew who had died. Those were warriors sent by the Duan family, a force that was not weaker than them. However, at this moment they had been killed. When they saw Duan Fei nailed to the ground, the three of them from the Shin family could not help but cry out. They did not expect that not only was the golden lion dead, but the most important person, Duan Fei, was also dead. "The three of you, save me!" The gray-robed elder shouted crazily again. "Elder Duan, don't worry. We will ensure your safety." The three of them had always been on good terms with the Duan family, so at this moment they naturally wanted to fight on the gray-robed elder's side. After saying that, the three of them quickly rushed over. Looking at the three figures, Lin Xian smiled. The battle just now had destroyed the array he had set up, so there was no space enchantment around them. The three elders from the Shin family were naturally unimpeded and quickly came to the gray-robed elder's side. However, the smile on Lin Xian's face grew even wider. He slowly raised his arm and pointed forward. "Void-shattering finger!" Suddenly, a purple light flew out like lightning and instantly streaked across space. "Oh no! You're courting death! How dare you!" The three of them roared and joined forces to stop him. The surrounding warriors were also shocked. They did not expect that Lin Xian would dare to attack in front of the Shin family. However, all of their efforts were in vain. The void-shattering finger disappeared without a trace and was extremely mysterious. In an instant, it passed through the combined defense of the three of them and pierced through the gray-robed elder's forehead. Poof! A thumb-sized hole appeared in the gray-robed elder's forehead, and countless blood splattered out. The light in his eyes gradually disappeared. Until his death, he could not believe that the other party could kill him under the protection of the three experts from the Shen family. Plop! The gray-robed elder's corpse fell to the ground, sending up a cloud of dust. The surrounding people were stunned. For a moment, the scene was very quiet and extremely strange. The three experts from the Shin family were also stunned. They did not expect the other party to succeed. However, in the next moment, the three of them were so angry that their bodies trembled. Presumptuous! He was too presumptuous! How dare he kill someone in front of them? He did not take them seriously at all. Moreover, the one who was killed was their ally, a member of the House of Kings. They could not explain this at all. Therefore, in the next moment, the three of them looked at Lin Xian with undisguised, killing intent in their eyes. "Brat, you are too presumptuous. Kneel down and accept your death. Come back with me obediently and accept your punishment. Otherwise, you will end up in a miserable state." The three of them formed a triangle and quickly walked toward Lin Xian. A terrifying aura was also quickly released, forming an extremely terrifying aura. Chapter 1255. However, Lin Xian looked calm. The 9th elder and the 10th elder behind him snorted and quickly walked forward to protect Lin Xian. "How dare you question our young master? Does the Shun family want to start a war with the Palace of Ares?" Hearing this, the three experts from the Shun family froze and stopped in their tracks. They looked at the 9th elder and the 10th elder, their expressions fluctuating. "What did you say?" "You said, 'He is your young master.'" The middle-aged man among the three frowned. "What young master? I don't know him. No matter who he is, if he dares to commit murder in Blue Ice City, he will be judged by the Shin family. Who do you think you are? How dare you judge our young master? Get lost." The 9th elder shouted angrily. The terrifying sound waves turned into a torrent of energy. It rushed forward quickly. "How dare you attack me? You are courting death." The middle-aged man shouted angrily and also attacked with his palm. The two waves of energy exploded. The middle-aged man from the Shin family was forced to retreat dozens of steps. The blood in his body was boiling. What? How is this possible? The other two elders' expressions changed drastically. They did not expect the old man in front of them to be so terrifying. The middle-aged man who was forced to retreat was trembling. He opened his mouth with difficulty and only spat out a mouthful of blood. "I can't be bothered with you juniors. If I remember correctly, Chongkong is here. Ask him to come out and see me." Ordinary martial artists might not have heard of this name, but the three Shun family experts and the people from the surrounding major forces were all shocked. Their eyes were filled with shock. Chongkong was the first elder in the Lingchuan mansion. He was also the seventh elder in the Shun family headquarters. This kind of person's strength was terrifying. He was definitely not someone the three experts from the Shun family could compare to. "Haha, Mo Yin, your temper is still so bad." At this moment, an old man's laughter sounded. Hearing this voice, everyone was shocked. The three experts from the Shin family also became respectful. "Greetings, Elder Chongkong." The three of them bowed respectfully to the void. "Elder Chongkong, could it be that Elder Chongkong has really come?" Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect to see such a terrifying figure here. Sure enough, in the next moment, the void rippled slightly, and an aged figure appeared before everyone. "Humph!" Seeing that figure, the ninth elder coldly snorted. "Chongkong, these juniors of yours aren't much. They actually dared to scold my young master. Do as you see fit. Young master." At this moment, everyone's expression was grave because they could see that the ninth elder was not afraid of the Shen family's Elder Chongkong at all. This meant that the other party status was definitely not inferior to Elder Chongkong's. Such a person was at least a core elder of the House of Kings. However, to be called young master by such a person, his identity was simply unimaginable. Could it be that this young man is also a core disciple of the House of Kings? Everyone looked at Lin Xian in shock. Elder Chongkong narrowed his eyes and carefully sized up Lin Xian. "Mo Yin, could this be the young master of your palace of war?" Of course. Hearing this, someone gasped. The young man in front of them was actually the young master of the palace of war. No wonder he dared to kill the Duan family's martial artists, and even the Duan family's fifth young master. Strictly speaking, Duan Fei was probably not even a 10,000th of the young man in front of them. One had to know that the Duan family wasn't the true master of the Palace of War. They were only under the vice palace master. The young man in front of them was the son of the palace master of the Palace of War, Lin Zhan. His status was even more honorable than Elder Chongkong and the rest. After knowing Lin Xian's identity, the three powerhouses from the Shin family immediately broke out in cold sweat. Putting aside the strength of this identity, just this identity alone was enough to kill them thousands of times. In an instant, the three of them were terrified, and their bodies trembled slightly. The vast sky elder also bowed slightly. "Greetings, young Master Lin." "Elder Chongkong, you're too polite." Lin Xian nodded slightly to return the greeting. If it was before, he would definitely respectfully address the other party as senior. However, it was different now. His status had become the young master of the Palace of War. It could be said that other than a few people, no one had a more honorable status than him. Therefore, even if he met the core elder of the Shen family, he would only nod slightly. "I didn't know young Master Lin was here. Please forgive me if I didn't take care of you properly." Elder Chongkong bowed slightly, then turned around and said to the three Shin family's martial artists, "The three of you, come over and apologize to young Master Lin." "Young Master Lin, we have eyes but failed to recognize you. Please be magnanimous and forgive us this time." "It's fine." Lin Xian said plainly, "My enemy is only the Duan family. Everyone else can be my friends." Lin Xian's words undoubtedly expressed his stance. He would fight to the death with the Duan family. As for the other forces, as long as they allied with the Duan family, they would be his enemies. After Elder Chongkong heard this, his eyes narrowed. He didn't expect the young man in front of him to be so fierce. It was really beyond his expectations. One had to know that the situation at the Palace of War wasn't good. Palace Master Lin Zhan was in seclusion, causing the Duan family to become stronger and stronger. They were already suppressing the Palace of War's main branch. However, the young man in front of him was still doing this. This meant that he definitely had some confidence that he didn't know about. It seemed that he had to reevaluate his attitude towards the Palace of War. Elder Chongkong's thoughts turned. He decided to discuss this matter with the other upper echelons of the family. Next, under the invitation of the Shun family's elders, Lin Xian and the others were welcomed into the Shun family's residence. Looking at Lin Xian's back view, everyone was filled with emotions. Originally, they thought that he would be in big trouble for offending the Duan family. However, they didn't expect his identity to be so shocking. Not only that, his strength was even more shocking. With a raise of his hand, he got rid of the gray-robed elder, the golden lion, and other terrifying existences. This young man will probably become the next famous young giant in the Tianwu continent. That's right. How old is he? He's already so terrifying. I'm afraid the Tianwu fourth young master wasn't as strong back then. Everyone exclaimed. Then they seemed to have thought of something. His motive for coming to the Shen family at this time is definitely not simple. Could it be that he's also here for a marriage alliance? It's possible. It seems that the birthday banquet later will be lively. Everyone was excited and walked towards the Shun family. The Shun family's residence was abnormally majestic. It was even several times bigger than the palace. At this moment, the Shun family's residence was brightly lit. Experts gathered, and it was abnormally lively. Lin Xian's arrival attracted the attention of many people. After all, there weren't many people who were qualified to have Elder Chongkong lead the way. Such a person's identity was definitely very honorable and rare. Therefore, everyone knew each other. Furthermore, Lin Xian was a very unfamiliar face, so everyone was guessing who he was. Chapter 1256. After bringing Lin Xian to the VIP room, Elder Chongkong left. Lin Xian found a place and sat down. At the side, Yu Fei was extremely excited. "Brother Xian, am I dreaming? Even the Xin family is so polite to us?" He was truly stunned because he had never imagined that a dignified king clan would actually be so courteous to them. This was something that he would never have dared to dream of. What shocked him even more was that Lin Xian was the son of the palace master of the Palace of Gods of War. This was too shocking. "It's nothing. As long as you follow me, one day I will lead all of you above the entire Tianwu continent." Lin Xian was confident. There were many people in the VIP room, and they were all sizing up Lin Xian and the others. Those who could enter were at least rank 6X, and they might even be from the House of Kings. As for Lin Xian and the others, they had never seen them before, so they were very curious. However, when they saw the insignia on the 9th elder and the 10th elder's robes, their hearts trembled. A blade and a sword crossed each other. This was the uniform of the Palace of Gods of War. At this moment, it appeared on the 9th elder. The meaning was self-evident. Needless to say, these two elders were definitely from the Palace of Gods of War. Looking at their strength and cultivation, they must be core elders in the Palace of Gods of War. As for the young man in front of them, needless to say, he must be of noble status. Therefore, many sects and families came to strike up a conversation. Lin Xian was also swirling his wine. As he tasted it, he thought carefully about who among these people could become allies with the palace of gods of war. At this moment, a few more cultivators were invited into the VIP room. This time, the leader was not Elder Changkong but a young man. This young man was very handsome. He could even be said to be beautiful. His appearance made many women jealous. The young man invited the guests into the VIP room and was about to leave when he inadvertently glanced at Lin Xian. When he saw Lin Xian, he was momentarily stunned, and his beautiful eyes abruptly shrank. This expression was caught by Lin Xian, and he frowned slightly. He couldn't understand why the youth had such a shocked expression. However, before he could think about it, the young man was already walking towards him. "You're Lin Xian?" The pretty boy asked tentatively. "I am." Lin Xian nodded. "And you are?" "My name is Shin Xiachi. My father is Shun Lingchuan." "Oh, so it's the young master of the Shun family. Why are you looking for me?" Lin Xian smiled as he looked at the young master in front of him. Come here for a moment. I have something to tell you in private." Hearing this, the surrounding cultivators revealed doubtful expressions, but Lin Xian nodded slightly. All right, he could somewhat guess the young man's intentions. "Ninth Elder, I'll go out with him for a moment." "Don't worry, there won't be any problems." After explaining, Lin Xian followed Shin Xiachi out of the VIP room. Lin Xian followed behind the young man, shuttling back and forth in the Shin family mansion. They avoided many hidden sentries and arrived at the depths of the Shun family mansion. If it were an ordinary person, they would have been scared witless upon seeing such an abnormal situation. After all, this was the Shin family mansion. However, Lin Xian was skilled and bold. He also guessed the young man's intentions, so he wasn't too worried. After bringing Lin Xian to a secret room, Shin Xiachi couldn't wait to ask, "Do you know my sister?" "Your sister? Is she Jingqiu?" "Sure enough, you know my sister." "That's right, you're Lin Xian." Shin Xiachi was excited. "You're exactly the same as my sister's drawing. Big brother Lin, can you help me with one thing?" "What do you need my help with? Is it related to your sister?" "Yes. Can you help her escape?" "Escape?" Shin Xiachi sighed. "My sister is really pitiful. First, something went wrong with her cultivation, and now she's being used as a tool for marriage. I know she's in despair. As her younger brother, I can't just sit by and watch. Escaping isn't the best way. With the Shun family's strength, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape for long." Lin Xian shook his head. "How about this? Ask your sister to find me. I have a way to get her out of this predicament." "What? There's another way?" Shin Xiachi was excited. Seeing Lin Xian nod, he said again, "Don't worry, I'll ask my sister to come here." Not long after Shin Xiachi ran out, he came back. Not only that, but he also brought someone back this time. It was a person wrapped in darkness. Her body was covered in black sand, and even her face was covered with a thick veil. Only a pair of eyes were exposed. Those eyes were bright and sparkling like stars. They were very beautiful. When Lin Xian saw those eyes, he felt a strange sense of familiarity. He knew that the figure in front of him was the girl he met 3 years ago, but he didn't expect reality to be so cruel. In 3 years, such a beautiful and intelligent girl had fallen to such a state. But fortunately, there was always a way out. He now had the spiritual medicine to cure her. "You're Lin Xian?" The figure in front of him spoke faintly. Her voice was hoarse and low, not at all like a young girl. She looked deeply at Lin Xian, then lowered her head. Her hands gripped her clothes uneasily, and her body trembled slightly. She was like an injured kitten, very timid. Looking at the pitiful person in front of him, Lin Xian felt a pang of pain in his heart. "It's me. I came for you as promised." But hearing Lin Xian's words, Shin Jingqiu finally couldn't help but cry. She had suffered too much in the past 3 years. Now, in front of Lin Xian, she couldn't take it anymore. Lin Xian slowly walked in front of Shin Jingqiu and said gently, "Since I'm here, I won't let you suffer any more." "But I'm in this state." Shin Jingqiu lowered her head. Her tears had wet the veil on her face. "Don't worry, I can cure you," Lin Xian said gently. "What?" Hearing this, Shin Jingqiu's body froze. Shen Xiachi, on the other hand, exclaimed, "You can cure my sister? Really? Big brother Lin, is this true?" Shen Jingqiu couldn't believe it, because in the past 3 years her family had thought of countless ways to cure her, but none of them could cure her, because that wasn't an ordinary flame, but the purest power of bloodline. Even a king couldn't suppress it. But now, Lin Xian said that he could cure her. This was shocking. "Don't worry, I can definitely cure you." As Lin Xian spoke, he took out a palm-sized jade teapot and a jade cup from his storage ring. "Drink this and you'll get better. Trust me." "What? Drinking this will cure me?" Shin Jingqiu's body trembled. To be honest, in the past 3 years, she had lost all hope because she didn't believe that there was anything in this world that could cure her. But she believed in Lin Xian. So, without thinking, she grabbed the teacup and drank it. Chapter 1257. A warm current flowed into her body, following her meridians and quickly spreading throughout her body. Following that, a warm feeling rose within her body, as if the pain caused by the bloodline power had lessened by a lot. "Is this enough?" Shin Jingqiu asked timidly. However, before Lin Xian could answer, Shen Xiachi screamed, "Sister, your voice!" "Voice? What's wrong with my voice?" Before she finished speaking, Shin Jingqiu was also stunned because she realized that her voice was no longer low and hoarse, but had become clear and crisp like an aureole. This was her original voice. Was this cup of tea so magical? Just after drinking it, there was a change. Now she was extremely excited because she now completely believed that the spirit tea brought by Lin Xian could cure her. Not only that, after her voice recovered, Shin Jingqiu felt a little itchy, as if half of her old skin was falling off. "All right, go back and prepare. You can't meet people like this. Don't worry, you will get better. Just treat these 3 years as a dream. Forget it." Lin Xian said gently. Shin Jingqiu looked at Lin Xian, her face blushing. Then she nodded heavily and ran out like a deer. "Brother Lin, is my sister really cured?" At the side, Shen Xiachi was also extremely shocked. Even though he was the young master of the Shen family and had countless treasures, he still couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. One had to know that his sister's illness was something that even the king of the family couldn't cure. But now, with just a cup of spirit tea, his sister had recovered by more than half. "Don't worry. Your sister will definitely amaze everyone today." Lin Xian was extremely confident. "From today onwards, your sister will still be the pearl of the Tianwu continent." The Shen family's main hall was brightly lit and bustling with noise and excitement. A stalwart middle-aged man and a beautiful middle-aged woman came to the main hall hand in hand. These two were Shin Lingchuan and his wife. Their arrival caused the entire main hall to quiet down. Although it was quiet, the atmosphere didn't weaken, and their bodies became more active than before. Below the stage, countless young talents from various forces were eager to give it a try. They wanted to display their most outstanding appearance, so that Shen Lingchuan and his wife would take a fancy to them. They knew that behind the birthday party was a marriage alliance, but no one cared about Shin Jingqiu. That was because they knew that the other party had long been disfigured and had lost his cultivation. He was simply a cripple. They were more concerned about who would be chosen by Shin Lingchuan, because once chosen, they would most likely become an important figure in the Shin family. Everyone's goal was to get close to the Shen family, the House of Kings. As for Shen Jingqiu, even if they married her, they wouldn't take a second look at her. Shen Lingchuan and his wife stood at the front and looked at the countless young talents below. They sighed in their hearts. The things that had happened in the past 3 years had made them so worried that their hair had turned white, but they didn't want their daughter to continue being so hopeless. Therefore, they planned to find a handsome young man to marry their daughter. Although they knew that most of these people were here for the Shun family, they still hoped that there would be someone who would treat their daughter with sincerity. However, seeing the current situation, Shun Lingchuan and his wife were extremely disappointed. They knew that it would be difficult to find a suitable young man today. However, since the birthday party had been held, of course, it had to continue, and it had to be extremely lively. At the beginning of the party, there were some congratulatory speeches. No one cared about these, and they all listened casually. However, not long after, the elder on the stage suddenly changed his tone. The little princess of the Shin family is ready. Now, let's invite our beautiful and lovely little princess to come on stage. Hearing this, many people below the stage curled their lips and didn't take it seriously. There was nothing wrong with a little princess, but she wasn't beautiful and lovely at all. Who didn't know that the little princess of the Shen family had long been disfigured? However, Shen Jingqiu was the star of this birthday party, so these people still glanced at her casually. However, they were all stunned by this glance. In front of the main hall, the door on the left suddenly opened, and a beautiful figure walked in. At this moment, Shen Jingqiu's black robe was gone, and it was replaced by a very beautiful long dress. Not only that, but the veil on her face was also taken off. However, she was still a little timid. This was because in the past 3 years, other than her parents and younger brother, she hadn't had any contact with anyone else. Now that she was facing so many people, she couldn't help but feel nervous and timid. However, in the end, she still mustered up her courage and took a step forward. As soon as she took a step forward, she instantly felt that all the eyes in the main hall were focused on her. Instantly, her face turned red, and her heart thumped even harder. She quietly looked in front of her and found that there was no hatred or disdain in those people's eyes. This allowed her to let out a slight sigh of relief. Taking a deep breath, she finally arrived at the main hall. Inside the main hall of Huihong, a beautiful girl stood quietly like a fairy in the mortal world. She was like the brightest star that lit up the entire sky. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Who on earth was this girl who was as beautiful as a fairy? Why hadn't they seen or heard of her before? Could it be that she was the little princess of the Shan family? Everyone was shocked. They couldn't believe that this girl who was as beautiful as a fairy was actually the legendary person who suffered a backlash from her bloodline power and had her face disfigured and her cultivation destroyed. This was too unbelievable. Xin Lingchuan and his wife were also shocked, especially Mother Xin. Her eyes were full of shock. "You are Jingqiu, Qiua?" "Mother, what's wrong? Don't you recognize me?" Shen Jingqiu was confused. She had left in a hurry and didn't look in the mirror, so she didn't know what was happening to her. However, looking at the shocked expressions of these people, she knew that she was no longer the same person she was when she was burned. "Qiu, you are my Qiu. That's great. You are finally recovered." Mother Shin hugged Shin Jingqiu and cried happily. At the side, Shin Lingchuan's eyes were also red, and his body was trembling. This powerful man who held great power in his hands was also filled with emotions at this moment. He didn't expect that one day his daughter would be able to recover her looks. This was something that he didn't even dare to dream of. "Father, Mother, I am Qiu. What's wrong with you? Don't you recognize me?" Shen Jingqiu was so anxious that she was about to cry. For the past 3 years, only her parents and little brother had been by her side. If her parents didn't recognize her now, her life would be over. The surrounding martial artists were all in an uproar. What? This beautiful girl is really Shen Jingqiu, the legendary cripple? God, this isn't a dream, right? The elders and youths of the big families were all stunned. Chapter 1258. They didn't expect the legendary person to be so beautiful. They didn't know what to do. At the same time, they gritted their teeth. Who was the one who spread the news that the Shen family's little princess face was disfigured? It was too abominable. They were afraid that Shen Lingchuan and the others had already seen their previous behavior. It seemed that this marriage was impossible. Damn it, Shen Lingchuan is a sly old fox. He actually thought of such a test. Yeah, we were all fooled. I didn't expect him to spread such rumors for his daughter's happiness. It's really unexpected. Many people thought that Shen Lingchuan had deliberately spread the negative news about Xin Jingqiu in order to find someone who truly loved his daughter. However, they didn't know that Shen Lingchuan and his wife were even more shocked than them. They didn't know that their daughter could recover her original appearance one day. After Xin Jingqiu found out that her appearance had recovered, she was so emotional that she cried. Brother Lin Xian, it's Brother Lin Xian. He saved me. Shen Jingqiu knew that it must be the cup of spiritual tea that had completely healed her injuries. Thinking of Lin Xian, she suddenly smiled through her tears and revealed a beautiful smile. Suddenly, the young warriors in the hall were all mesmerized by her. Many of them couldn't help but walk forward, wanting to strike up a conversation with Xin Jingqiu. Now they were regretting it. If they had shown a little bit of concern for Xin Jingqiu, things would have been different now. Seeing the impulsive young warriors, the Shen family's guards rushed over to maintain order, fearing that a riot would break out in the hall. Xin Jingqiu's mother pulled Xin Jingqiu and quickly left through the side door. Qiu! Let's go and find a place to tell me what happened. Shen Jingqiu's mother was anxious. She didn't care about what would happen at the birthday banquet. Now, her daughter was the most important thing in her eyes. Seeing Shen Jingqiu leave, the young warriors in the hall were even more excited. Originally, they were a little reluctant about the marriage alliance. But now, they wished they could break their heads to snatch this spot. Those older people weren't to be trifled with. Therefore, the elders and patriarchs of various forces all came over to get close to Xin Lingchuan. Xin Lingchuan was naturally in a good mood, but he did not mention a word about his daughter's marriage. He had only wanted to find someone who treated Qiu, or sincerely because he had no other choice. But now his daughter has recovered her looks and has become the pearl of the Sky Martial Continent. As for the marriage alliance, to hell with it. Young Lord Lin Xian, our master invites you over. Elder Chongkong personally came to invite Lin Xian over. Although he didn't know why Xin Lingchuan wanted to invite Lin Xian over, he knew that it wasn't a simple matter. He had also heard about Xin Jingqiu's incident and was extremely shocked when he heard the news. Lin Xian wasn't surprised that Xin Lingchuan wanted to meet him because he was very confident in the immortal tea. Moreover, he knew that Shen Jingqiu had fully recovered from the situation in the main hall. Shen Lingchuan and his wife were naturally curious about the fact that he could recover from an injury that even a king could not heal. They would definitely be extremely shocked. At this time, Lin Xian's role in this matter would be revealed. Hence, Shen Lingchuan would definitely look for him. Young Lord Lin Xian, our master is inside. You can go in. Elder Chongkong brought Lin Xian to a hall. Lin Xian nodded and pushed the door open. Shen Lingchuan and his family were inside, chatting and laughing nonstop. Until now, they were still very excited. Big brother Lin, you're here. When Shen Xiaqi saw Lin Xian, he immediately dashed over. Lin Xian smiled at him before looking at Shen Lingchuan and his wife. Shen family, Madam Shen. Lin Xian nodded slightly. Young Lord Lin, please take a seat. Shen Lingchuan and his wife were very excited as they invited Lin Xian in. Xin Jingqiu's face was also red. Big brother Lin Xian, you're here. Shen Lingchuan and his wife had already heard from their daughter that this young man in front of them was the one who gave their daughter a cup of spiritual tea. Hence, her injuries were all healed. When they heard this news, they were extremely shocked. Needless to say, that spiritual tea was definitely a rare treasure. An illness that even a king couldn't cure could be cured by a cup of spiritual tea. This was too shocking. Shen Lingchuan and his wife thought that Lin Xian had an ulterior motive for coming here. However, when they found out that their daughter and Lin Xian knew each other 3 years ago, they immediately changed their minds. Hence, they couldn't wait to find Lin Xian. Young Lord Lin, I heard from Chiu, or that you gave her a cup of spiritual tea. May I know what kind of spiritual tea it is? Shen Lingchuan was very curious. You're too polite. Chiu and I are good friends. Hence, you should just call me Lin Xian. Young Lord, or whatever sounds a little distant. All right then, I'll call you Nephew Lin. You don't have to call me Shen Family Head. Why don't you call me Uncle Shen? Shen Lingchuan smiled. All right, Uncle Shen. I found this spiritual herb in the hidden sky secret realm. It's called the immortal tea. It can heal all injuries. If you consume it all year round, it can even preserve your youthful appearance. Great, I brought a pot today. Uncle Shen and Auntie Shin, please have a taste. With that, Lin Xian flipped his palm and took out the pot of immortal tea. He poured a cup for everyone. As soon as the spirit tea was taken out, an abnormally fragrant aura gushed out and filled the entire room. There was no need to drink it. Just by smelling it, one would feel refreshed. This, Shen Lingchuan and his wife looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. After all, they were all important figures in the Shin family. Therefore, they had seen a lot of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. However, they had never seen anything like the immortal tea. Hence, the two of them couldn't wait to take a sip. Soon, the two of them were shocked because they felt a mysterious energy circulating in their bodies. Good stuff, it's really good stuff. No wonder it could cure Chiu Er's illness. Shen Lingchuan was very excited. Nephew Lin, do you have any more of this spiritual herb? I would like to buy some. It was extremely precious to be able to cure an illness that even a king couldn't. Hence, Shen Lingchuan wanted to buy some from Lin Xian in case he needed it. Don't worry, I won't mistreat you in terms of price. Furthermore, I will support you in the matter of the Palace of Aries. Lin Xian had cured their daughter. He was their family's benefactor. Hence, Shen Lingchuan expressed his attitude without hesitation. Thank you, Uncle Shen. Lin Xian was overjoyed. It seemed like he had completed half of his goal. At least he had obtained Shen Lingchuan's support. However, there was still the other half that he had to complete. Uncle Shen, it's not that I don't want to sell it to you. However, I still have a use for the immortal tea, Lin Xian said. Speaking of which, I still need your help with something. Oh, what is it? Just tell me. Chapter 1259. Oh, what is it? Just say it. Shen Jingqiu said, Brother Lin Xian, just say it. Don't worry, my father will help you. It's actually not a big deal. I just need Uncle Shen to spread the news about the immortal tea. You mean? Shen Lingchuan's eyes flashed. Soon, I will hold an auction in the Blood Realm. The immortal tea will be on the auction block. However, the immortal tea's effects are too shocking. I'm afraid people won't believe me. Shen Lingchuan understood. It seemed that Lin Xian wanted the Shen family to help him spread the news. Indeed, the immortal tea's effects were too shocking. Normally, he wouldn't believe it either. However, after witnessing his daughter's incident, he knew that the tea was miraculous. Others didn't know. They wouldn't believe it either. Therefore, Lin Xian needed the Shen family to help him. Don't worry, leave it to me. Shen Lingchuan chuckled. I wonder when the auction will be. I'd like to go and take a look. Hearing this, Lin Xian took out an invitation from his storage ring and handed it to Shen Lingchuan. Then I'll welcome Uncle Shen's arrival. After chatting for a while, Lin Xian stood up and prepared to leave. Brother Lin Xian, are you leaving? Shen Jingqiu's eyes were filled with reluctance. Seeing this, Shen Lingchuan and his wife sighed. After 3 years of suffering, Shen Jingqiu had become extremely introverted. Other than them, she probably wouldn't talk to anyone else. She couldn't go on like this. Shen Jingqiu's mother thought for a long time and felt that Lin Xian was reliable. Therefore, she said in a low voice, "Lin Gongzi, why don't you take Qiu with you?" What? Lin Xian was stunned. However, Shen Jingqiu's eyes were filled with excitement. Qiu has just recovered from a serious illness. Her appearance has just recovered, but her confidence hasn't recovered yet. I think you should take her to see the outside world. It'll be better for her temperament. However, my current situation is very special. I'm afraid there will be a lot of dangers if you follow me. To be honest, Lin Xian also wanted to take Shen Jingqiu away, but he had other things to do now. Moreover, the Duan clan would not let him off. Lin Xian didn't want Shen Jingqiu to get caught up in such a fight. Brother Lin Xian, Qiu will protect herself well, Shen Jingqiu said pitifully, afraid that Lin Xian would not want her. Nephew Lin, don't worry. I don't think those people from the Duan family have the guts to harm my daughter. Lin Xian thought for a moment and then nodded. All right, big brother Lin Xian, you agreed? That's great. Shen Jingqiu cheered. After that, Lin Xian led Shen Jingqiu out of the main hall and towards the VIP lounge. When he saw that Lin Xian had brought back a girl as beautiful as a fairy, Yu Fei was stunned. The 9th elder and the other 2 were also shocked. Young master, this is? Oh, she's Shen Jingqiu, Shen Lingchuan's daughter. She's coming with us this time. Qiu greets the 2 grandpas. Shen Jingqiu said timidly. What? Shen Lingchuan's daughter, the little princess of the Shen family. The 9th elder and the other 2 were stunned. They didn't expect that Lin Xian would go out for half a day and kidnap the little princess of the Shen family. It seemed that both parties were very close. Brother Xian, you're my idol. I worship you. Yu Fei's face was full of tears. The 9th elder and the other 2 kept nodding. As expected of the young master, his methods are indeed powerful. Hearing this, Shen Jingqiu's face turned red. She was very nervous. Lin Xian rolled his eyes at the 9th elder and the other 2. Then he turned to Shen Jingqiu and said gently, "Don't worry about the 3 of them. Let's go." Under the night sky, a golden feathered divine eagle quickly soared into the sky and disappeared into the horizon. The people sitting on it were Lin Xian, Shen Jingqiu, and the others. Not long after they left, the news of the immortal tea spread quickly. Soon, all the major forces knew that there was such a miraculous spiritual tea in the world. Not only could it retain one's youthful appearance, it could even heal injuries that even kings couldn't heal. Because Shen Lingchuan was the one who spoke this time, and Shen Jingqiu's transformation was obvious to everyone. Therefore, although everyone still had some doubts about the immortal tea, most of them already believed it. Therefore, everyone came to ask about the immortal tea. However, Shen Lingchuan shook his head and said that he didn't know anything. He only said that the immortal tea would be auctioned in 2 months at the Blood Region Immortal Martial Auction. Everyone had some impression of the Immortal Martial Auction because the purple spirit pill was auctioned there. It was a spiritual medicine that could improve one's martial soul. It could be said that it caused a sensation for a while. However, after that, the Immortal Martial Auction didn't sell anything special. Therefore, everyone gradually forgot about it. However, they didn't expect that the immortal tea would be auctioned again. For a time, all the major forces sent people to quickly inquire about the news. Even Lin Xian and the others on the way heard the news. Therefore, Lin Xian sent the 10th elder back to the immortal martial auction to take charge of the situation. The rest of the people followed Lin Xian to the deity, Sword Villa. The immortal martial auction was very busy now because there were people coming to ask about the immortal tea every day. Because Lin Xian had told them before, Wang Li and the others didn't leak any information. They only said that it would be auctioned at the auction. This made countless forces even more curious. In fact, people were like this. The more you didn't say anything, the more curious they would be. Therefore, more and more people were very curious about the immortal tea. They all planned to come and take a look in 2 months. Senma College was very lively, but the Duan family was gloomy. During this period, the atmosphere in the Duan family was very solemn. It was as if they would explode at any time. First, the news that the Skynet organization failed to assassinate Lin Xian. Then, they heard that Duan Fei and the others died in Blue Ice City. This was undoubtedly huge news. After all, Duan Fei was the 5th young master of the Duan family. However, he was killed on the street. This was undoubtedly a provocation to the Duan family. Prince Ling Feng was furious when he found out, so he hurriedly sent a large number of experts to the Blue Ice Layer to kill Lin Xian. He also asked the Shen family to join forces. However, Lin Xian left that night. They couldn't find him at all. The Shen family's attitude also became very strange. They seemed to be unwilling to have too much contact with them. This made Prince Ling Feng extremely furious. Trash! A bunch of trash! Prince Ling Feng's face was gloomy. His aura erupted and instantly engulfed the entire hall. So many experts, but they can't even find a 7th heaven venerable kid. What trash! Young master, you can't blame us. That kid left that night. Moreover, he cured the little princess of the Shen family. I guess the Shin family will help them now. It seems that our intelligence was wrong, and we underestimated him. The group of warriors trembled in fear. Chapter 1260. Humph! He's just a brat. I don't believe that he can do much. Lin Zhan and his family have been suppressed by the Duan family for a long time. What can a brat like him do? Increase the manpower. We have to find that brat. I want him to know the consequences of offending me. Prince Ling Feng looked cold. Then he asked, "What's with the immortal tea?" The celestial martial auction and the Shen family are keeping it a secret. We can't get any information from them. As for the other forces, they don't know anything. Prince Ling Feng clenched his fists when he heard his subordinates report. I didn't expect that brat to have such a treasure. I was too careless this time. I let him get close to Shen Lingchuan. I'm afraid the entire Shen family's attitude will change. When we find him, search his soul and snatch the immortal tea from him. If we fail this mission, don't come back to see me alive. Prince Ling Feng snorted. His subordinate quickly said, "Don't worry, young master. We'll do it now." The Duan family moved quickly. On the other side, Lin Xian, on the other hand, had obtained this information through the beast slave seal. He snorted. The Duan family didn't learn their lesson. They still dared to find trouble. It seemed that after the auction was over, he had to give them a harsh blow and destroy Prince Ling Feng's arrogance. Lin Xian patted the golden-feathered mystical eagle and said, "Speed up!" The golden-feathered mystical eagle screeched and flapped its wings. It flew quickly like a bolt of golden lightning. At this speed, they would reach the deity Sword Villa in 10 days. The deity Sword Villa started to get busy. After all, it was the Villa Master's 1000th birthday. It was an important event for the deity Sword Villa. The martial artists who came out of the Shen family didn't go back. Instead, they went to the deity Sword Villa. After all, the deity Sword Villa's birthday banquet wasn't any worse than the Shen family's. It might even be better. After all, Shen Jingqiu was just a little princess of the Shen family. On the other hand, the deity Sword Villa was the clan master's birthday banquet. On the way, Lin Xian did not cultivate. Instead, he carefully examined the situation inside Shen Jingqiu's body. Although the burns on her body had healed, Shen Jingqiu's cultivation had fallen behind by a lot. Lin Xian wanted to refine some pills to help him increase his cultivation. "Big brother Lin Xian, how is it? Can I still cultivate?" Shin Jingqiu asked timidly. Silly girl, don't worry. Of course you can cultivate. When we reach the deity Sword Villa, I will refine some elixirs for you to consume first. Don't worry, with me around, I can definitely help you improve your cultivation in a short period of time. Really? That's great. Qiu can finally cultivate. Shen Jingqiu was very happy. Lin Xian sighed slightly. It seemed that she had suffered too much in the past 3 years. He didn't expect that even cultivation had become a luxury. Don't worry, I will definitely make you completely better. Lin Xian swore in his heart. In fact, it wasn't difficult to help Shen Jingqiu increase her cultivation because Lin Xian had hundreds of pills that could increase cultivation. However, he was worried about the power of the bloodline and Shen Jingqiu's inner demons. As the little princess of the Shen family, Shen Jingqiu had the same bloodline as Murong Qingqing. However, something went wrong during the awakening of her bloodline, which led to the incident 3 years ago. Now that Shen Jingqiu had fully recovered, her bloodline power would probably be stimulated again. When that happened, she would have to face the same situation as 3 years ago. However, Shen Jingqiu probably had a huge shadow in her heart now. She was probably very afraid of her bloodline power. If it wasn't handled well, the tragedy would probably happen again. That was what Lin Xian was most worried about. Bloodline power? Let me find it. Lin Xian began to look through the pill formulas left behind by Niwa of Gojoseon and Lord Alcohol. After half an hour, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Found it. The Celestial Protection Pill was a pill that specifically targeted the power of the bloodline. With it, Shen Jingqiu would be extremely safe when activating her bloodline power. It would protect her from any backlash. However, this pill alone wasn't enough. This was because Shen Jingqiu was probably very afraid of the power of the bloodline. If she didn't get rid of this fear, it would be impossible for her to truly awaken her bloodline power. From the looks of it, it wasn't easy to get rid of the inner demons in Shen Jingqiu's heart. At the very least, pills alone wouldn't be able to cure it. It seemed like he had to use an illusion to let her experience it and overcome it herself. This process wasn't simple and couldn't be carried out in the deity Sword Mountain Villa. Therefore, he could only wait until he was done here and return to Senmu College. After finding a solution, things became much easier. Therefore, Lin Xian began chatting with Shen Jingqiu. Brother Lin Xian, can you tell me about your experience? I want to know. All right. Lin Xian rubbed Shen Jingqiu's head. Then he said gently, I'll start from when I left the Xia kingdom. Therefore, in the following days, Lin Xian began to talk about his experience. His experience was full of twists and turns. It was very shocking. Not only Shen Jingqiu, but even the 9th elder was shocked when he heard it. This was because he didn't expect someone to be able to go through so many dangers and come out unscathed. Lin Xian was probably the only one capable of such a feat amidst this dangerous story. Lin Xian and the rest passed through the boring flight and finally arrived at the deity Sword Mountain Villa. After knowing that the young master of the Palace of Ares was coming, the deity Sword Mountain Villa sent out the highest standard to welcome him. However, when they saw who it was, many disciples and even elders were stunned. Lin Xian, why are you here? Many of them had been to the remote sky mystic realm before. Therefore, they recognized Lin Xian. When they saw Lin Xian, they were all stunned. Could it be that you're the young master of the Palace of Ares? After hearing this news, everyone gasped. Originally, they thought that Lin Xian was just an ordinary disciple of Senmu College. However, they didn't expect him to be the young master of the Palace of Ares. This change in status was worlds apart. Luckily, they didn't go against him back then. This was what everyone in the deity Sword Mountain Villa thought. At the same time, they heaved a sigh of relief. Young Master Lin, please come in. A group of elders respectfully welcomed Lin Xian and the others in. and provided them with the best pavilions and palaces. There were still more than 10 days before the actual birthday banquet began. Therefore, Lin Xian didn't go out. Instead, he went into seclusion to refine some elixirs for Shen Jingqiu. Right now, Shen Jingqiu's cultivation was only at the spirit transformation realm. It could be said that it was very low. However, Lin Xian wasn't worried. This was because Shen Jingqiu was the same as the Crimson Dragon. She had only lost a cultivation realm. As long as she had enough energy, she could quickly recover. Sure enough, in the past 10 days, Shen Jingqiu had consumed the elixirs refined by Lin Xian. Her cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds, and she had broken through to the supremacy realm. This made the ninth elder and Yu Fei's eyes almost pop out. Chapter 1261. This kind of speed of improvement was unheard of. Young master, how did you do it? Isn't this too magical? The ninth elder was extremely shocked and couldn't believe it. I'm afraid even a ninth-grade alchemist wouldn't be able to do this. Perhaps only the legendary Saint Elixir has this kind of effect. Indeed, ordinary spirit pills couldn't achieve this kind of effect. Only the legendary Saint Elixir could. However, Shen Jingqiu's situation was a bit special. Firstly, her cultivation level had dropped, so it was easier for her to recover. Secondly, the secret was in Lin Xian's elixir. Lin Xian didn't use ordinary herbs to refine these elixirs. Instead, he used herbs obtained from the remote sky secret realm. They were at least a few thousand years old. The effect of these herbs far exceeded that of the outside world. That was why these elixirs had such terrifying power. Perhaps in the entire Tianwu continent, only Lin Xian dared to use so many thousand-years-old elixirs to refine. Other alchemists probably didn't have the financial resources to do so. Even if they did, they wouldn't be willing to refine it. That was why Lin Xian was able to achieve such a terrifying speed of improvement. Shen Jingqiu felt the energy in her body and was very excited. She didn't expect that in just a few days, her cultivation level would rise to the honorable realm. Although it was only the first heaven of the honorable realm, it was still very shocking. Brother Lin Xian, you're so nice. The little girl looked at Lin Xian with a gentle face. Lin Xian rubbed her head. All right, go and cultivate by yourself. It wasn't enough to just increase her cultivation level. Shen Jingqiu needed to consolidate the energy on her own. Therefore, the little girl nodded and obediently went to cultivate. Lin Xian, on the other hand, stretched lazily and walked out of the alchemy room. He had been refining elixirs for the past few days and was indeed a little tired. He could use the time when the little girl was cultivating to relax. It had to be said that the pavilion provided by the Deity Sword Villa was indeed not bad. The furniture and decorations inside were all made of trees that were more than 1,000 years old. There was also a huge spirit gathering array below. It made the entire pavilion abnormally rich in spirit qi. Not only that, even the ordinary wine and fruits were some extremely precious spirit wine and spirit fruits. Opening the window, Lin Xian was lying on a reclining chair made of 1,000-year-old flamewood. He was holding a cup of top-grade spirit wine and slowly sipping it. The sunlight shone on his body, making him feel exceptionally warm. This feeling was indescribably comfortable. At this moment, the door opened and Yu Fei walked in quickly. Older Brother Xian, people from the Xinqing sect request an audience. Xinqing clan? What are they doing here? Lin Xian asked. Didn't you save the people of the Xinqing clan in the Blue Ice City? This time, the big man brought the people of his clan to thank you. So that's how it is. Come, accompany me to take a look. Lin Xian stood up from the 1,000-year blazing wood recliner and casually placed the top-grade spirit wine on the table. Finally, he raised his hand and set up a small array to protect Shen Jingqiu's safety. Only then did he leave with Yu Fei. This pavilion had a total of 3 floors. Previously, Lin Xian and Xin Jingqiu were cultivating on the 3rd floor. Now, they were heading to the hall on the 1st floor. In the hall, there were indeed people from the Xinqing sect. Not only was there the big man from the Blue Ice City, but there were also 2 middle-aged men. The 2 men's auras were not weak at all. They had also reached the 8th sky of the Venerable Realm. They were even stronger than the big man from before. It seemed that the 3 of them were all experts of the Xinqing sect. At this moment, when they saw Lin Xian walk over, they immediately stood up. The big man among them even said respectfully, "Young Master Lin, you're here. Please sit. Don't be so polite." Lin Xian waved his hand and sat on the main seat. Then he ordered Yu Fei, serve the 3 of them spiritual tea. Soon, 4 beautiful maids quickly walked in from outside. Each of them held a cup of top-grade tea in their hands. Although the spiritual tea was not as good as the immortal tea in Lin Xian's hands, it was already very good in the outside world. Lin Xian picked up the teacup and took a sip. Then he asked calmly, "Why are you 3 looking for me? Don't tell me you're just here to thank me." "Young Master Lin, let me introduce you." The big man from the Xinqing sect stood up and pointed at the 2 people beside him. "These are my 2 senior brothers. The 3 of us are from the Xinqing 13 Guardians. I'm the 9th brother. These are my 7th and 5th brothers. Young Master, you can call us Xinjiu, Xinwu, and Xinqi. The 3 of us are here to discuss something with you." "Oh, what is it?" "The Duan family has gone too far. We also know about the Palace of Gods of War situation. So, we're willing to join you and become your ally." "Oh, you're willing to ally with me?" Lin Xian's eyes lit up. If that was the case, it would be great. "Don't worry. As friends of the Palace of Gods of War, I, Lin Xian, will not mistreat you." "Thank you, young Master Lin." After hearing that, the 3 of them thanked him in advance. Young Master, there's one more thing," the 3 big men said hesitantly. "What is it?" Lin Xian asked with a smile when he saw that the 3 of them were a little embarrassed. Xinjiu scratched his head. "It's like this. We also know about the immortal tea. Also, we know that the auction is under your name. I wonder if young Master can give the 3 of us an invitation. Otherwise, we won't even be able to get in." Indeed, although the Xinqing sect was a 6th-rank sect, the effect of the immortal tea was too shocking. If too many people went and they couldn't get their hands on it, or if the House of Kings bought it, they would have no chance of getting the immortal tea. "Oh, I see. That's easy. Yu Fei, give the 3 of them an invitation." Immediately, Yu Fei walked off the stage and took out a golden invitation from his storage ring. "Thank you, young Master." The 3 of them took the invitation and beamed with joy. After that, the 3 of them chatted with Lin Xian about some cooperation and then left. Not long after Xinjiu and the other 2 left, Elder Jiu came. As soon as he came in, he asked, "Young Master, has the Xinqing sect joined the alliance?" "Yes, indeed." Lin Xian nodded. "That's great. The Xinqing sect used to be neutral and didn't help anyone. I didn't expect them to stand on our side this time. It's nothing. Speaking of which, the Duan family is too arrogant. They really think they're invincible and don't care about anyone. Just wait and see. They'll be in trouble." Lin Xian sneered. Indeed, they were getting stronger and stronger. As for the House of Kings, although the Murong family and the Xin family didn't fully support him, he had Murong Qingqing and Shen Lingchuan's bloodline. They would at least support him. There was also Senmu College, which was his solid backing. Moreover, there was the addition of the 6th-rank Xinqing sect. It wouldn't be long before the deity Sword Villa also stood on their side. Moreover, this was just the beginning. Lin Xian believed that when old-time tea and the immortality pill were released, the other families and forces who were watching would definitely flock to them. By then he could easily suppress the Duan family. Chapter 1262. Young Master, can the longevity elixir really increase one's lifespan by 30 years? Even an old man like me is tempted. Elder Jew was doubtful. Indeed, he had never heard of an elixir that could increase one's lifespan. However, since the young master could take out the everlasting old-time tea, the effect of the longevity elixir should be real. He had drunk the everlasting old-time tea before, and the effect had shocked him. He was afraid that even the best spiritual medicine could not achieve such an effect. He did not doubt that if a person took the everlasting old-time tea for a long time, he would definitely have a strong body. Finally, it was time for the birthday banquet of deity, Sword Villa, to begin. The scale of the banquet was much bigger than Shen Jingqiu's banquet. At the back mountain of deity Sword Villa, there was a bamboo hut. A middle-aged man stood outside the bamboo hut. The middle-aged man had a white face and no beard. He had an imposing appearance and a sharp sword essence and the aura of a superior person. It seemed that he was not only an expert in the way of the sword, but also a powerful person who had been in a high position for a long time. Uncle Master, the banquet is about to start. Are you really not going? This time, all the forces and people from the House of Kings are here. There might be some rare treasures at the banquet. By then, you might be able to extend your lifespan. I'm not going. I don't have much time left. I think I only have 1 month left. An old voice came from inside. Uncle Master, how can that be? You are the honorable sword. You are the glory of deity, Sword Villa. You will not fall so easily. The person in the wooden hut was the honorable sword. However, the surprising thing was that the voice was too old and had a strong sense of death. He did not sound like the honorable sword from a few months ago in Hidden Heaven's secret land. I am old and I can't take it anymore. Remember, you are the Villa Master of deity, Sword Villa. You are the future pillar of deity, Sword Villa. As for me, I will become history and only exist in people's memories. The middle-aged man was the Villa Master of deity, Sword Villa. No wonder he had such an aura. At that moment, Villa Master Xia heard what the honorable sword said and sighed deeply. He knew that the honorable sword was right. He probably only had 1 month left to live. He did not expect the honorable sword, who used to be famous in Tianwu continent, to have such a sad ending. However, there was nothing he could do. Forget about him. Even a king-level figure wouldn't be able to do anything, because this was a natural aging process, a heavenly Tao that couldn't be defied at all. No one could escape the cycle of life and death. Thinking of this, he sighed again. His body moved, turned into a sword light, and left the back of the mountain. Only the upper echelons of Xinjian Villa knew that Sword Venerable did not have much lifespan left. Therefore, although the atmosphere of the birthday banquet was lively, the upper echelons were extremely worried. However, none of the guests knew about this. This time, there was an extremely powerful force among the incoming forces. This was because it was not a single force, but an alliance of several different forces. This was the Duan family. This time, the Duan clan had sent out the third young master of their clan. At the same time, they had brought along a large number of elders and guards for protection. They were afraid that the same thing that happened in Blue Ice City would happen again. Not only that, this time, the Duan clan did not come alone. They had joined forces with a young master of the Shun family and 5 sixth-rank sections. The Shun family had a good relationship with the Duan clan. Although Lin Xian was supported by Shun Lingchuan, the whole Shin family was too big. Shun Lingchuan was not the only direct descendant, so there were other core forces supporting the Duan clan. For example, the young man in front of them was called Shin He. He was a core disciple of the Shun family, and his family was also a direct descendant. Moreover, he did not have a good relationship with Shun Lingchuan. Therefore, when Shun Lingchuan stood on Lin Xian's side, his family directly stood on the Duan clan side. In addition, there were several successors of 6th-rank sects who were the most outstanding geniuses of the younger generation. Brother Duan, it's just a young boy. Is it really necessary to mobilize such a big force? A young man looked disdainful. His name was Wei Wufeng. He came from the 6th-rank Jindao sect, and he was the chief disciple of the sect. His status was not much weaker than Duan Li's. Brother Wei, don't underestimate this person. My 5th brother was killed by him in Blue Ice City. Brother Duan, you worry too much. Although your brother was killed, it should be done by the elder beside him. With that boy's strength, it's absolutely impossible. What we need to guard against is only the elder beside him. As for that boy, leave him to me. I can deal with him with one slash. Wei Wufeng was very arrogant and showed off his ability. Their Jindao sect was also a famous existence in the Tianwu continent. It was even as famous as the deity Sword Villa. Moreover, as a swordsman, he had a domineering aura. Wei Wufeng also cultivated the Jindao sect's secret technique, the sky-dominating golden saber art. He had an extremely arrogant aura. Therefore, he did not take Lin Xian seriously at all. Hearing Wei Wufeng's words, Duan Li nodded slightly. He had not seen Lin Xian's strength with his own eyes. What happened before was just a rumor, and it was inevitable that it was exaggerated. Moreover, he knew how powerful this young man was. He had once killed an 8th-level venerable with one slash. He could be said to be extremely powerful. When the time came, there was no need for him to show up. He could just let Wei Wufeng deal with Lin Xian. Even if there was danger, it would be Wei Wufeng who would be in danger. It would definitely not affect him. Thinking of this, Duan Li smiled and said, "That's true. The rumor was exaggerated. It's just a boy. How can he be compared to Brother Wei? By the way, have you heard? It's said that the sword sovereign of the deity Sword Villa is dying. I estimate that he only has 1 month left." Another young man sighed. I didn't expect the sword sovereign to be so miserable now. Many people sighed. Duan Li also nodded slightly. He had also received the news. Therefore, his main purpose this time was to rope in the deity Sword Villa's Villa Master. That was because the sword sovereign of the deity, Sword Villa, was dying. The most powerful person now was Villa Master Xia, and the other party was Nagato. Therefore, as long as Villa Master Xia was on their side, the entire deity Sword Villa would fight with the Duan family. With the support of the deity Sword Villa, the Duan family would be even more powerful. Thinking of this, Duan Li sneered proudly. However, his laughter soon stopped, and his face became extremely gloomy. That was because he saw a figure, Lin Xian. He did not expect him to finally come out. The young geniuses beside him also turned their heads. Among them, Wei Wufeng's eyes were shining with a shocking light. He's Lin Xian. He's only a 7th-level venerable. He's really weak. Chapter 1263. The old man behind him should be the elder of the Palace of Gods of War. He's actually a 9th-level supremacy. No wonder that brat is so arrogant. He has a 9th-level supremacy protecting him. Everyone sneered. It seemed like the incident in Blue Ice City was just a legend. The one who did it must be the 9th-level supremacy. Duan Li's expression also darkened. He was just a piece of trash. How could he deserve the title of Young Master of the Palace of Gods of War? The Palace of Gods of War belonged to the Duan family. Lin Xian naturally sensed the hostility from the crowd and frowned slightly at once. Brother Xian, it's those people from the Duan family again. They even joined forces with many rank 6 sects. One of them is the young master of the Xin family. Yu Fei said from the side. Xin family? Seeing Lin Xian's confusion, Yu Fei explained, the Shen family is very powerful. It's not just the Shen family, so it's normal for other Shen family cultivators to work with the Duan family. Lin Xian nodded. He wasn't surprised. Wasn't the Palace of Gods of War also divided into 2 factions that fought to the death? The bigger the family, the more intense the internal conflicts. The Shen family was no exception. It was just that the Shen family had a king realm cultivator to suppress them. It's the Shen family again. Lin Xian frowned and said coldly. He didn't need to care about them. Yes. Yu Fei followed behind Lin Xian and stopped paying attention. The ninth elder also snorted. However, the Duan family didn't plan to let Lin Xian go. A group of people walked over. Soon, Duan Li, Wei Wufeng, and the others blocked the way. Get lost. Good dogs don't block the way, Lin Xian said coldly. He didn't want to fight with them at the deity Sword Villa's birthday banquet. However, Duan Li and the others were extremely arrogant and didn't move aside. At this moment, the young master of the Shen family, Shen He, stared at Shen Jingqiu and said, Hey, isn't this Sister Jingqiu? Why are you here? Why didn't you greet me when you saw me? Shen Jingqiu hadn't come into contact with outsiders for 3 years, so she didn't know how to reply. However, Shen He continued, That's right. I heard that you recently took in a servant called Lin Xian. Is he here yet? Hearing this, the hearts of the surrounding people pounded wildly. Many of them even retreated quickly. Who was Lin Xian? Of the god of the palace of gods of war? He was a young prodigy who had recently been in the limelight. However, at this moment he was being called a servant. This was definitely looking for trouble. However, he was indeed qualified because he was also a disciple of a king clan. Therefore, they didn't dare to say anything about the battle between the young masters of 2 king clans. She just hoped that the fish in the moat wouldn't be implicated. Shen of war of Shen of gods of war gods of Shen of God of God of God of God will make a joke of Shen of God of his of God, especially the ninth elder, who was exuding a powerful aura. No one could insult Lin Xian, not even the Shen family. Shen He's cousin, Xin Yuan, sneered. That's right, Sister Jingqiu. Where is that servant Lin Xian? Why don't you bring him out for us to meet? Nonsense. Brother Lin Xian is not a servant. He is my friend. Shen Jingqiu couldn't take it anymore. Her body trembled as she shouted with all her might. However, her delicate voice was drowned out by the laughter of the crowd. In the end, the little girl was so anxious that she was about to cry. Ninth elder, break their legs and throw them out, Lin Xian ordered with a gloomy face. The ninth elder stepped forward and was about to make a move. However, a few guardian elders from the Xin family also stepped forward to confront the ninth elder. Haha, Elder Mo Yin, there is no need to be angry. They are just juniors. Let them settle it themselves. Although the elders' auras were not as strong as the ninth elders, they could still contend with the ninth elder if they joined forces. Therefore, the ninth elder was restrained for a while. Looks like you want me to do it myself. A cold intent appeared on Lin Xian's body. I will fight you. Let me see what kind of ability you have as a young master. Or do you have an undeserved reputation? Wei Wufeng stepped forward and grasped the golden saber at his waist. Suddenly, a violent saber intent condensed on his body. It was as if a peerless saber had been unsheathed, causing people's hearts to tremble. Oh no! It's the chief disciple of the Jindao faction! Someone exclaimed in a trembling voice. What, you mean Wei Wufeng? Legend has it that he killed an 8th heaven venerable with a single saber strike. No way! Such a powerful prodigy has also pledged allegiance to the Duan family? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Meanwhile, Shen He and Xin Yuan sneered. If you want to fight us, you have to go through Brother Wei first. Ha ha ha! They were not worried at all because they knew Wei Wufeng's strength very well. Lin Xian was probably no match for him at all. Duan Li did not say anything, but a cold smile appeared on his lips. This scene was exactly what he wanted. He wanted to see what means Lin Xian had to contend with them in front of so many people. At the same time, he also wanted to let everyone know who the real owner of the Palace of Gods of War was. Lin Xian looked at the young man holding the golden saber in front of him and instantly frowned. "Who do you think you are to fight with me? Scram!" Lin Xian berated. "What? He dares to berate Wei Wufeng? I'm afraid this is going to be troublesome." The surrounding cultivators were horrified and distanced themselves from Lin Xian. Meanwhile, Shen He and Xin He laughed arrogantly. "Ha ha ha ha, he dares to insult Wei Wufeng. He's dead for sure this time." As expected, after hearing Lin Xian's berating, Wei Wufeng's hair stood on end, and an endless violent aura surged out of his body. In the next moment, he suddenly pulled out the golden saber at his waist and slashed at Lin Xian fiercely. "Die, brat!" This saber strike was as fast as lightning and extremely fierce. However, Lin Xian's speed was even faster. The moment he pulled out the saber, he disappeared on the spot. His figure flashed, and he arrived in front of Shen He and Xin He. His palms were like dragons as he quickly reached out. What? This was impossible. The saber struck empty air. Wei Wufeng was shocked, while Shen He and Shen Yuan behind him screamed. This was because they realized that Lin Xian had already attacked them. "You dare to attack me?" Scram! The two brothers were shocked and furious at the same time. They quickly threw out a punch and blasted forward. Lin Xian was powerful, but the two brothers were not to be trifled with. Both of them were in the 8th heaven realm. At this moment, they were absolutely confident that they could kill Lin Xian if they joined forces. However, they soon realized how ignorant they were. That was because the attacks they unleashed were instantly disintegrated before Lin Xian. Not only that, an extremely powerful force came from Lin Xian's palms and bombarded their arms, instantly breaking their arms. Crack, crack! 2 bone-cracking sounds were heard, and Shen He and Xin He immediately screamed. What? The 2 brothers of the Shen family broke their arms. How is this possible? It was only now that these people reacted. The few guardian elders of the Shin family were also shocked. Their figures flashed, and they wanted to attack. Chapter 1264. The guards and elders of the Shin family were also shocked. They wanted to make a move. However, the 9th elder was like an ancient mountain, standing in front of them. Who was the one who said that we should let the younger generation solve their own problems? What? You can't stand it anymore? The 9th elder sneered. He was not worried about this from the beginning, because he knew that Lin Xian's strength was definitely beyond everyone's imagination. As expected, the 2 brothers of the Shin family were in big trouble. Kid, how dare you hurt me? You're dead. I'll tear you into pieces. You've offended us, and you'll have no way to survive on this continent. Shin He and Xin Yuan roared ferociously. Humph, you're still so stubborn when you're about to die. Lin Xian snorted. Who are you calling a servant? Kneel down. Lin Xian stretched out his palms, forming 2 terrifying palms that grabbed at Shen He and Xin Yuan. In the next moment, the terrifying force made the 2 of them kneel on the ground. Bang! 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 Lin Xian waved his arms and controlled the huge palms of light, making the Shin brothers kneel on the ground and kowtow repeatedly. Every kowtow was so forceful that it made a deep pit in the ground. Terrifying cracks spread under everyone's feet. Looking at this scene, everyone was stunned. Although they had heard of Lin Xian's strength, they had never seen it with their own eyes. Now they finally saw it with their own eyes. Not only was he strong, he was simply too strong. And he was so arrogant that he made the 2 young masters of the Shen family kneel and kowtow. Perhaps only Lin Xian would dare to do such a thing. The 2 young masters of the Shin family were pressed to the ground and kowtowed, making banging sounds. Soon their heads were bleeding, and the ground was destroyed beyond recognition. However, Lin Xian still had no intention of stopping. Kid, you're courting death. The elders of the Shen family couldn't hold it in any longer. Even though the ninth elder was there to stop them, they still rushed toward Lin Xian like crazy. With the help of the elders of the Duan family and other sixth-rank sects, 2 elders of the Shen family finally broke through the ninth elder's defense line and rushed towards Lin Xian. Thief, how dare you insult my Shen family? Die! The 2 of them were like wolves and tigers. Their expressions were abnormally ferocious. Terrifying auras swept out in all directions like 2 peerless, ferocious beasts. Lin Xian coldly snorted, "You too, kneel down as well." After he finished speaking, 2 large hands appeared in front of him. Like coiling dragons, they viciously grabbed forward. Immediately afterwards, 2 powerful 8th-level supreme experts, Shen family's elders, appeared. Like a weak little lamb, it was caught by 2 big hands, unable to resist at all. Plop! Bam, bam, bam. The 2 Shen family's elders were also pressed to the ground by Lin Xian. They quickly kowtowed. This scene was too spectacular. The 2 young masters of the Shen family and the 2 elders of the Shen family lined up in a row, kneeling on the ground and kowtowing nonstop. Blood dyed the ground red, and countless cracks appeared on the ground. The 4 of them were so angry that their lungs were about to explode, but they couldn't shake off the 4 huge light palms above their heads. Everyone around them gasped and looked at Lin Xian in horror. Terrifying, too terrifying. Even the young masters and elders of the House of Kings weren't spared. This Lin Xian was simply unscrupulous and arrogant to the extreme. It seemed that they couldn't become enemies with him unless they had no other choice. This was what almost everyone thought. Even the chief disciples of the 6th-rank sects beside Duan Li were terrified. Duan Li's face was gloomy, but his heart was wild with joy. Lin Xian's actions were more serious than killing the Shen family's people. This was a complete humiliation to them, a slap to the Shen family's face. He was afraid that after this, Shen He's bloodline would completely fall out with Lin Xian. This was undoubtedly a great thing for the Duan family. Not only that, but he also wanted to add fuel to the fire and continue to make things worse. Therefore, he quickly stood out and criticized Lin Xian loudly. They were the young masters and elders of the Shen family. How dare you humiliate them like this? Do you want to start a war with the Shen family? At this moment, the 4 people kneeling on the ground gnashed their teeth and roared, "Kill us if you can, or you're dead meat. I'll pay you back 100 times for what you did today. Brat, I won't let you go." The 4 of them seemed to have gone crazy, as if they wouldn't stop until one of them was dead. Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes darkened and a murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Lin Xian had cultivated the blood sword inheritance, so the murderous intent on his body was much stronger than that of ordinary people. Therefore, when the murderous intent appeared, the temperature of the entire space dropped sharply. Everyone kept trembling and their eyes were filled with fear. The 4 people of the Shen family who were kneeling on the ground were shocked. They had no doubt that if they dared to be presumptuous again, Lin Xian would really kill them. Stop! At this moment, an angry roar was heard. Then, a dignified middle-aged man walked over quickly with the disciples of the deity, Swordvilla. When he saw the scene in front of him, his eyelids twitched violently. However, he calmed himself down and said coldly, "Today is a joyous day for the deity Swordvilla. Don't you think you've gone too far by fighting here? Protector Ding, you've come at the right time. This brat is too despicable to fight in the deity Swordvilla. I think we should catch the troublemakers and throw them all out," Duan Li said sinisterly. The 4 people of the Shen family who were kneeling on the ground shouted crazily, "Protector Ding, save us!" Protector Ding looked at the 4 people on the ground and took a deep breath before looking at Lin Xian. "Young Master Lin, let's stop and let them go. No matter what, I'm still the young master of the Palace of Ares. I represent the Palace of Ares. However, the 4 people in front of me are insulting me. They're not just insulting me. They're insulting the entire Palace of Ares. How can I let them go so easily? Or do you think the Palace of Ares is a pushover? Lin Xian looked at Protector Ding and did not back down. As soon as he came up, he could tell that Protector Ding was flirting with Duan Li and the rest. He must have been bribed. Humph! The Deity Sword Villa is not a place where you can behave atrociously, even if you're the young master of the Palace of Ares. I'll give you one last chance. Let them go. Otherwise, don't blame the Deity Sword Villa for being impolite. Protector Ding's face darkened and a dangerous aura surged from his body. It seemed that as long as Lin Xian continued to oppose him, he would really take action. Seeing Lin Xian's tough attitude, the surrounding people's eyelids twitched. Lin Xian was too arrogant. He even dared to go against the Deity Sword Villa. One should know that this was the headquarters of the Deity Sword Villa. There were countless sword principal experts. Even if Lin Xian was the young master of the Palace of Ares, he would not be at an advantage if they were to fight. When Duan Li saw this, he smiled sinisterly. It seemed that Lin Xian was more impulsive than he had imagined. Lin Xian had openly rebelled against the Deity Sword Villa. This was the best outcome for him. It would be best if both parties were to fight and he could reap the benefits. Thus, in the next moment, he once again berated. Lin Xian, quickly stop. You're too arrogant. You're not protecting the Palace of Gods of War's face at all. Instead, you're embarrassing the Palace of Gods of War. Chapter 1265. Lin Xian, stop it now. You're too arrogant. You're not protecting the Palace of Ares' reputation. You're embarrassing the Palace of Ares. I don't think you're fit to be the young master of the Palace of Ares. If you know what's good for you, you'd better get lost. Otherwise, you'll be thrown out by the Deity Sword Manor. Lin Xian's eyes turned cold when he heard the voice. Duan Li had been jumping up and down to provoke him. Now, he still dared to stir up trouble. Did he really think he was a pushover? With a cold snort, Lin Xian's lightning martial soul rushed out of his body and charged forward. The lightning martial soul was purplish-white and extremely mysterious. It had an unusually violent power and was extremely fast. It arrived in front of Duan Li in the blink of an eye. The lightning martial soul raised its hand and slapped Duan Li's face. What? Duan Li was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He couldn't believe that Lin Xian still had the strength to attack while suppressing 4 8th heaven supremacies. Suppressing 4 8th heaven supremacies wasn't an easy task. Perhaps only a 9th heaven supremacies could do it easily. However, Lin Xian did it with a 7th heaven supremacies cultivation. This was shocking. However, everyone thought that Lin Xian must have used all of his strength to do this, and had no strength left at all. Who would have thought that Lin Xian would soon let them know what ignorance was? Facing Duan Li's clamor, Lin Xian easily sent him flying. Duan Li was also an 8th heaven supremacies. Moreover, he was extremely powerful. However, he couldn't even block a single move from Lin Xian. This meant that Lin Xian's strength was definitely beyond everyone's imagination. Controlling 4 8th heaven supremacies didn't take much effort at all. Young master. The Duan family elder reacted and immediately pounced on Duan Li. Half of his face was completely smashed and blood splattered everywhere. If Lin Xian hadn't held back, that palm strike would have even smashed his head. You're courting death. How dare you injure my young master? I'll kill you. The few elders of the Duan clan also had crazed expressions as they glared fiercely at Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He said coldly, "If you don't want to kneel down in front of me like the 4 from the Shin family, I advise you not to do anything." You. Hearing Lin Xian's threat, the Duan clan's elder trembled with anger. However, no one dared to make a move because they couldn't see through Lin Xian's strength. If they acted rashly, they might have to kneel down and kowtow in front of everyone. That would be worse than death. Thus, those Duan clan elders didn't dare to act rashly. Seeing that his words had scared off all the Duan clan's elders, the surrounding people were shocked. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it, even if they were beaten to death. Behind them, Protector Ding's expression was extremely ugly. He had brought people to warn Lin Xian to stop. However, Lin Xian didn't listen at all. Not only did he not release the Xin family, but he even crippled Duan Lily in front of him. Lin Xian didn't take him seriously at all. "Brat, I admit that you're very strong. However, this is the deity Sword Villa after all, so I advise you to stop now. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." "Impolite? How can you be impolite?" Lin Xian sneered. "Do you think you can represent the entire deity Sword Villa to start a war with the Palace of Ares? Or do you think you can beat me?" "You." Protector Ding was speechless and trembled with anger. He couldn't do either of the two things that Lin Xian said because he wasn't the Villa Master at all. Thus, he couldn't represent the entire deity Sword Villa. Moreover, although he was slightly stronger than Duan Li and the others, he was only in 8th heaven's supremacy and hadn't broken through to the 9th heaven. Thus, he wasn't confident at all when facing Lin Xian. "Since you can't make the decision, don't embarrass yourself here. Go back and ask someone who can make the decision to come." Lin Xian was furious. Originally, he had wanted to give a big gift to the sword supremacy of the deity Sword Villa. However, he hadn't expected to be suppressed by the deity Sword Villa before he had even given the gift. How could he be happy about this? Even if he wanted to cooperate with the deity Sword Villa, he had to let the deity Sword Villa know about his strength before doing so. "Lin Xian! Young Master Lin, give me some face and stop now." Right at this moment, another aged voice resounded. Although this voice was old, it was surging with boundless energy. There was even the suppression of the 9th heaven coming from it. "Greetings, Grand Elder." Protector Ding and the others immediately bowed to the void when they heard this voice. Grand Elder? Could it be the Grand Elder of the deity Sword Villa? Everyone was shocked. They hadn't expected the Grand Elder to be alarmed in the end. Lin Xian also stopped his actions and stopped the 4 members of the Xin family in front of him from kowtowing. His eyes flickered as he looked at the void and said loudly, "I'm here to celebrate Villa Master Xia's birthday. I'm not here to cause trouble. It's just that some flies are too annoying. They keep jumping around in front of me. You can't blame me for this. This is our fault. We didn't treat you well. I hope young Master Lin can forgive us." Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. "I can stop, but what I said before has to be effective." "What?" Protector Ding asked subconsciously. "Break their legs and throw them out of the deity Sword Villa." "What?" Hearing this, everyone's eyelids twitched. They hadn't expected that even the Grand Elder of the deity Sword Villa would not let go of Lin Xian. As for the 4 members of the Shen family who were kneeling on the ground, their faces changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with despair. If they were really thrown out today, they would probably become the laughingstock of the entire Tianmu continent tomorrow. In the void, the Grand Elder didn't say anything. However, everyone could clearly feel that the atmosphere in the entire space was tense. It seemed that the Grand Elder was also angry. Finally, the Grand Elder's voice rang out, "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Of course, I always mean what I say," Lin Xian said proudly. Then, without waiting for the Grand Elder to react, he quickly broke the legs of the 4 members of the Xin family in front of him. Then he kicked them into the sky one by one. The 4 of them screamed and turned into shooting stars, disappearing into the sky. Everyone's mind went blank. Their heads were about to explode. They hadn't expected that Lin Xian would really dare to do this. This was completely a slap to the Shen family's face. They were afraid that both sides would fight to the death. However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He turned around and walked to the back. At the back, when Wei Wufeng saw Lin Xian walking over, his body suddenly trembled. A look of fear appeared in his eyes, and he subconsciously retreated to the side. Lin Xian didn't even look at him. Instead, he returned to Xin Jingqiu and led the few of them to the VIP seats. He sat down with his golden saber. Wei Wufeng's face was extremely ugly. Previously, he was extremely arrogant and claimed that he wanted to kill Lin Xian with one slash. But now, it seemed that he didn't even have the courage to face Lin Xian. It was really sad. The group of people was extremely shocked. The martial artists of the Duan family looked extremely gloomy. Chapter 1266. The Great Elder was stunned. He had not expected Lin Xian to be so ruthless. After a long while, he spoke again. Great, great, great. You are indeed a supreme talent in the limelight. I am impressed by young Master Lin's methods. Old man, don't be upset. Even if the Shun family is looking for trouble, they will not look for Deity Sword Villa. Moreover, I am here to give Deity Sword Villa a big gift. Lin Xian looked into the void and said casually, Big gift? What gift? The Great Elder was not the only one who was confused. Everyone was confused. However, Lin Xian smiled mysteriously and said, What gift? You will know later. Everyone was unhappy with the way Su Mo had kept them in suspense. However, no one dared to say anything. The Duan family snorted coldly. Duan Li gritted his teeth as he stared at Lin Xian's back view. His body could not stop trembling. Now he had already consumed a spirit medicine, and half of his smashed face had recovered. However, he could never recover from the humiliation he had suffered previously unless he killed Su Mo with his own hands. The Great Elder could not think of anything that Lin Xian could give. However, he said in the end, Deity Sword Villa will wait for young Master Lin's gift. Su Mo's attack was swift. Previously, he had been too proud of himself and had left the protection of the Duan family's elders. The Duan family's elders and the Deity Sword Villa had not expected Lin Xian to make a move. Therefore, they were not prepared. Slap! The violent thunderbolt palm slapped Duan Li's face and sent him flying. The slap was merciless. Half of Duan Li's face was smashed. His body spun 18 times in the air before he fell to the ground with a thud. Everyone was stunned. They could not believe what had happened. Soon, the people from Deity Sword Villa stepped forward and suppressed the matter. Although the matter had ended, everyone could not calm down for a long time. Lin Xian was too powerful. He had exceeded everyone's expectations. Those who wanted to work with the Duan family in the future would have to discuss whether they were qualified to offend Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't care about the comments of the crowd. He wanted to be domineering and let everyone know how powerful he was, because only in this way could he ruthlessly strike down the Duan clan's arrogance. Otherwise, his side was incomparably weak, and he was afraid that no forces would be willing to cooperate with them. Moreover, the 4 members of the Shen family that he had beaten up before were not a big deal, because he knew that those people were enemies of Shen Lingchuan's bloodline. Even if he killed those people, his relationship with Shen Lingchuan's bloodline would not change. It was precisely because he knew this that Lin Xian had acted so fiercely. Not long after, the Deity Sword Villa's banquet began. Villa Master Xia was like a sword god as he went to the main seat. He had also heard about what had just happened, but there was no displeasure on his face at the moment. Good wine, good food, singing and dancing followed one after another. The atmosphere in the Deity Sword Villa was unusually lively. Everyone seemed to have forgotten what had just happened. However, the Duan clan was gnashing their teeth with ferocious expressions. Damn it! How dare he hit me? I won't let him off. Duan Li roared in a low voice. He swore that he would definitely kill the other party. Don't worry, young master. I have already made arrangements. Now, it's not just us. The Shen family has also organized people. They will definitely be able to kill him on the way back. Not to mention him, even the ninth elder beside him won't be able to escape this time. Let him be arrogant for a while. When the time comes, I will let him know how powerful I am. Hearing the elder's reply, Duanli revealed a ferocious smile. This time, he would definitely kill the other party. However, before that he still had one more thing to do, and that was to rope in the deity's sword villa. What's the point of just drinking? Villa Master Xia, I have brought you a few good treasures this time. Duanli found an opportunity and stood up to speak in a clear voice. Young Master Duan, you are too polite. Since you have come, there is no need to bring gifts. Villa Master Xia chuckled and said. The surrounding warriors were also moved when they heard this. They knew that the Duan clan was about to make a move. This was because when they had arrived previously, they had already sent gifts. However, Duanli still wanted to send gifts at this moment. It was definitely not an ordinary gift. At the very least, it was some rare treasure. This time, I have brought 3 gifts for Senior. Duanli looked confident, as if he was very confident in the gifts he had brought. Since it is a gift from young Master Duan, it must be a rare treasure. Why don't you take it out and let us have a look? Protector Ding said. He had already received benefits from the Duan clan, so he naturally had to speak up for Duanli at this moment. On the other hand, the first elder asked in a deep voice, Villa Master, what do you think? Villa Master Xia narrowed his eyes and nodded slightly. Since it is young Master Duan's good intention, I naturally can't reject it. Moreover, since it is a treasure, of course, it should be shared with everyone. If young Master Duan is willing, you can naturally share it with everyone. Of course. Duanli had come this time to show off. Now that he had such an opportunity, how could he miss it? Then he took out a treasure sword from his storage ring. The first gift is naturally a top-notch treasured sword. This sword is called Wind Cutter. It is a quasi-earth rank treasure weapon. However, it is not an ordinary quasi-earth rank treasure weapon. This long sword has merged with an earth rank treasure weapon fragment. What? An earth rank treasure weapon fragment. Hearing this, the surrounding people were shocked. An earth rank treasure weapon was an extremely powerful existence. Even if it was a fragment, it was not something that ordinary martial artists could see. Once this quasi-earth rank treasure weapon had merged with an earth rank treasure weapon fragment, its power would definitely surpass an ordinary quasi-earth rank treasure weapon. It could be said that in the Tianwu continent, it was an extremely precious existence. The crowd did not expect that the first treasure weapon would be so precious. The martial artists from the deity sword villa were also shocked. Then they looked forward with burning gazes. Lin Xian was also surprised. It seemed that the Wind Cutter sword was not any weaker than his Lone Star sword. It seems that the Duan clan has really put in a lot of effort to rope in the deity's sword villa. However, he was not worried at all because the item in his hand was more precious than any other treasure. Let me see what else you can take out for the remaining 2 items. Lin Xian raised his wine cup and planned to admire it. The Wind Cutter sword is indeed a good sword. Not bad, not bad. Even Villa Master Xia nodded in satisfaction. Duanli smiled proudly and then placed the Wind Cutter sword aside. As for the second treasure, I think Villa Master Xia will be more interested. Oh, what is it? Villa Master Xia was also curious. Since the other party could take out such a precious treasure sword, it meant that he definitely had something good in his hands. The only thing that could make him more interested was probably related to the way of the sword. The crowd guessed and became even more curious. Duanli stood calmly with a confident smile on his face. When the crowd's curiosity reached its peak, he slowly took out the second treasure from his storage ring. Chapter 1267. Duan Li stood there calmly with a confident smile on his face. When everyone's curiosity reached its peak, he slowly took out the second treasure from his storage ring. What? A wooden statue? What's so strange about it? When everyone saw Duan Li take out a 3-foot-tall wooden statue, they were immediately puzzled. As for the elders of Deity Sword Villa, their hearts were beating wildly as their eyes revealed a shocking light. This is... Even Lin Xian was surprised. He narrowed his eyes and stared ahead, his gaze flickering. It was indeed a wooden statue, but it was not an ordinary statue. There were 3 sword scars on it. The 3 sword scars were not deep, but they contained an extremely mysterious power. This aura, could it be a sword scar left behind by a king? Lin Xian frowned. He did not expect the Duan family to take out such a treasure. It is indeed a sword scar left behind by a king. I did not expect the Duan family to be willing to spend so much. At the side, the 9th elder's face was also ugly. If they did not have the longevity pill that could increase their lifespan, they would have lost. A sword scar left behind by a king was something that no swordsman could withstand. Sure enough, when Villa Master Xia saw the wooden statue, he also stood up fiercely. His gaze was like a sharp sword as he stared at the wooden statue. Could it be that this sword scar was left behind by a king? Villa Master Xia is indeed powerful. To see through the crux of the matter with a glance. Duan Li laughed. That's right, the 3 sword scars were left behind by a king. Furthermore, it was the Iron Sword King whose name shook the sky martial continent. What? The sword scar left behind by the Iron Sword King. Immediately, all the elders and martial artists were shocked. One must know that in the sky martial continent, a king represented the highest fighting strength. As long as it was a king's item, it was the most mysterious and precious. They did not expect that at this birthday banquet, they would be able to see the sword scar left behind by a king with their own eyes. This gift was indeed too precious. It far surpassed the beheading wind sword from before. Furthermore, all the great families knew about the Iron Sword King's deeds. The Iron Sword King was a legend. With an iron sword, he rose from the bottom and fought all the way until he became the Sword King of his generation. It was an extremely inspirational and shocking story, but no one expected that they would be able to see the sword scar left behind by the Iron Sword King. Manor Lord Xia, do you like this gift of mine? I like it, I really like it. Young Master Duan is very considerate. Manor Master Xia laughed loudly. His cultivation was high, but compared to the Sword Sovereign, he was still a little lacking. Now that he had reached a bottleneck, it was very difficult for him to take another step forward. But now he saw hope. With these 3 sword scars, he believed that he could make another breakthrough in his cultivation. Perhaps in the future he would be able to reach a height that even the Sword Venerable could not reach and become a Sword King. Seeing Villa Master Xiao's appearance, Duan Li smiled with satisfaction. It seemed that his second gift was really good and had moved Villa Mistress Xia. Thinking about it, the matter of the alliance should be in the bag. However, Duan Li did not intend to give up just like that. Instead, he placed the wooden figure to the side once more. There's no rush. I have a 3rd treasure here. What? There are still treasures. Everyone was shocked. These 2 treasures were already very precious, especially the second one. It could be said to be a rare treasure. It seemed that no one had expected that Duan Li would still take out a 3rd treasure. To be able to be used as a trump card, the 3rd treasure should be even more extraordinary. Thinking of this, everyone's hearts burned with anticipation. Lin Xian also nodded. Indeed, the first 2 treasures were extremely tempting. It seemed that the 3rd treasure was also extraordinary. As expected of the Duan clan, they actually had so many good things in their hands. This time, Duan Li took out a square box from his storage ring and slowly opened it, revealing a golden pill inside. I think everyone should have heard of my Duan clan's supreme divine medicine, the undying gold pellet. As long as you still have a breath left, no matter how injured you are, you can immediately recover. What? It's that magical undying gold pellet. Could it be that the third treasure is the undying gold pellet? Everyone was in an uproar. They had heard of the effects of the undying gold pellet, and many of them had seen it with their own eyes. However, only the Duan clan had this kind of divine pill, and only a few of the Duan clan's upper echelons had it. No one expected that such a precious pill would actually be given to the deity Sword Villa as a gift. The elders of the deity Sword Villa also had red eyes and were breathing heavily. The first two treasures were already very precious, but they did not expect the third one to be even more precious. With this pill in hand, there was no doubt that they would have an extra life. Therefore, they looked forward with burning eyes. Villa Master Xia was also shocked, and he was overjoyed. The deity Sword Villa did not have such a divine pill. Then he seemed to have thought of something and quickly asked, "Can this undying gold pellet cure a dying person?" "That depends on the situation. If it's a dying person, then it can definitely be cured. If it's a natural death, then there's nothing we can do. After all, life and death are reincarnations. This is the way of heaven, and it can't be disobeyed." Duan Li also knew about the sword honorable, so he could only answer truthfully. Villa Master Xia sighed slightly. Indeed, it could not cure the sword honorable. However, the way of heaven was not like this, and it could not be disobeyed. Even if he was disappointed, there was nothing he could do. Moreover, the undying gold pellet was already a supreme divine pill. The three treasures floated in the void, and each of them was shocking. Now that the three of them were given to the deity Sword Villa, it could be said to be a super gift. Even if the deity Sword Villa was a top 6th rank sect, they could not help but be tempted. Seeing that Villa Master Xia had accepted the three treasures, Duan Li smiled in satisfaction. He knew that as long as Villa Master Xia accepted the gift, the alliance would be finalized. He just needed to wait for the birthday banquet to end, and then he would talk to Villa Master Xia privately. Thinking of this, he glanced at Lin Xian proudly, and his eyes were full of provocation. He sneered. "Aya, a small disciple of the Duan clan, has given out 3 gifts. I wonder what young Master Lin has given to the deity Sword Villa. I think it should be a supreme treasure. Why don't you take it out and let us see it? You're the young master of the Palace of Ares. You can't give something too shabby." Duan Li sneered in disdain, and his words were full of mockery. Everyone shook their heads after hearing that. Indeed, although Lin Xian had suppressed the Duan clan previously, the Duan clan had completely returned the favor and even gained the upper hand. That was because the 3 treasures were all rare treasures. Everyone could not think of any treasures that Lin Xian had that could be compared to the Duan clan. It seems that the Duan clan has won the battle between the 2 sides. Yes, there's no other way. Whether it's the king's sword scar or the undying gold pellet, they are too precious. It's hard to find anything else to compete with them. I'm afraid that Lin Xian has no hope of winning over the deity Sword Villa. Everyone discussed softly, and they all thought that Lin Xian would definitely lose. Chapter 1268. Protector Ding also snorted coldly. He was very happy. Previously, Lin Xian even dared to talk back to him, which made him very unhappy. Now that Lin Xian was being suppressed by the Duan family, he was naturally happy. Even the great elder narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, "Young Master Lin, you said that you would give our deity Sword Villa a big gift. I wonder what it is. Can you take it out now?" Everyone's heart skipped a beat. This was bad. It seemed that the great elder was also unhappy. It was no wonder. Previously, Lin Xian talked back and made the great elder lose face. Now he naturally wanted to return the favor. Villa Master Xia also heard about this matter, but he didn't take it seriously. Moreover, Lin Xian was the young master of the Palace of Gods of War, so he had to give him face. Hence, he smiled faintly. Young Master Lin has already given us a gift before. It's not bad. I like it very much. I think everyone shouldn't be so conflicted. Why don't you try some more spiritual wine? Everyone knew that Villa Master Xia was trying to smooth things over. Duan Li looked at Lin Xian and sneered. Then he slowly sat down. No matter what, they had completely suppressed Lin Xian now. The final victory would definitely be theirs. The elders of the Duan family also had proud smiles on their faces. But soon they couldn't smile anymore, because Lin Xian slowly stood up and said loudly, "That's right. I do want to give the deity Sword Villa a big gift. It's a super big gift. After seeing my gift, you'll know that the 3 treasures from before are just a drizzle." Uft, uft. Hearing this, everyone spat out their wine. Then they looked at Lin Xian in surprise. Drizzle? Stop fooling around. Those were peerless treasures. Whether it was the king's sword scar or the immortal golden pill, each of them were extremely precious. How could they be considered drizzle? Duan Li was so angry that he jumped up. "Humph, I think you're just jealous. Jealous that my Duan family can take out so many treasures. Drizzle? Do you have a brain? How can those things be called drizzle?" Duan Li was extremely angry. Lin Xian glared at him and said coldly, "You still dare to be arrogant in front of me? Is your face itching again?" Feeling this killing intent, Duan Li's eyelids twitched violently. He had just been slapped by Lin Xian, and his face had been smashed. If it weren't for the recovery pills, he wouldn't have been able to recover so quickly. But now the other party was threatening him. This drove him crazy. But soon he began to sneer because he felt that Lin Xian was only clamoring with him, and he couldn't take out any treasure at all. In fact, the surrounding people also felt the same way, but they didn't dare to say it out loud. But it was very clear that Duan Li didn't have such misgivings. What's the use of just having a strong tongue? If you have the ability, why don't you take out the treasure and open our eyes? Humph. I want to know, is there anything on the Martial Heaven continent that can surpass the 3 treasures I just took out? Duan Li snorted coldly, his face full of disbelief. The people from Divine Sword Villa were also suspicious, especially the great clan elder, Protector Ding, and the others. Their faces were filled with suspicion. However, they did not dare to openly go against Lin Xian, so they could only say, "If young Master Lin has any treasures, why don't you take them out for everyone to see, and let us open our eyes?" You will see. Lin Xian's expression was calm as he took out an invitation from his storage ring. This is an invitation to the Immortal Martial Auction. Next month, there will be an auction in the Blood Realm. I hope that Villa Master Xia can come. Invitation? That's also considered a gift? Everyone was stunned. Duan Li laughed out loud. "Ha ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. It's just a lousy invitation. I thought it was something. You dare to treat this as a gift? You even shamelessly said that my treasure is drizzle? What a joke. Lin Xian, I admit that you are strong, but if you want to deceive everyone like this, isn't it a bit too much?" The surrounding people were also discussing spiritedly. Even the elders of Divine Sword Villa had ugly expressions. They felt that Lin Xian was playing with them. But soon, these people stopped talking, and there were even many exclamations. This was because they realized that the golden invitation was emitting a faint blue light under the sun, as if it was a sea of stars. This light, why does it look like the legendary thing? This can't be the starry ocean gold, right? An elder exclaimed with a face full of shock. What? Starry ocean blue gold? That's impossible, right? Many people cried out in alarm. However, a few powerful old men's eyes lit up as they stared fixedly at the golden invitation card. Starry ocean blue gold? What is that? A young warrior did not understand. Is it very precious? Nonsense. That's a material for refining an earth-rank treasure. You say it's not precious. What? A material for refining an earth-rank treasure. This time everyone was shocked. An earth-rank treasure was incomparably mysterious and unpredictable. The materials needed to refine it were rare treasures that could not be bought even with money. It was even rumored that back then there was a king-level refiner who wanted to refine an earth-rank treasure. But because he could not find the suitable materials, he could not refine it in his lifetime. One could imagine how precious the materials were. And now, Lin Xian actually had the materials to refine an earth-rank treasure. This was too shocking. Moreover, what was even more shocking was that these materials were actually used to refine the invitation. What a waste! What a waste! What a prodigal! A group of old men slammed the table, feeling heartache. Such a precious metal was used to refine an invitation. It was more than a waste of talent. It was simply a prodigal to the extreme. Those people from Divine Sword Villa were speechless. They did not think that a small invitation would have such a terrifying origin. And Duan Li's face was even darker, incomparably gloomy. This was a direct slap in the face. He had just mocked the other party, thinking that the other party's invitation was not worth mentioning. In the end, a huge piece of information was revealed. That invitation was actually made of an extremely precious metal. If this was not a slap in the face, then what was? Damned prodigal. It's just a lousy invitation, and you still use such a precious metal. The palace of Ares will be squandered by you sooner or later. Duan Li roared. Although he was gritting his teeth, his tone was filled with jealousy. Isn't it just a little metal? What's so great about it? At most, it's comparable to the wind-cutter sword. But my king-level sword scar and indestructible golden core are extremely precious. They can't be compared to a little metal. Duan Li snorted coldly. Hearing this, many people nodded. Indeed, although the star-sea blue gold was precious, there are too few people after all. It was impossible to beat Duan Li's 3 treasures. At most, it was comparable to the wind-cutter sword that contained the earth-rank fragment. No one knew how to compare the remaining 2 treasures. Seeing Lin Xian's confident smile, their hearts were filled with doubts. At this moment, Villa Master Xia chuckled and said, "I'll accept the invitation. I wonder what the auction will be." He was indeed curious. An invitation was made of an extremely precious metal, so the auction would definitely not be simple. Chapter 1269. Manor Master Xia chuckled and said, "I'll accept the invitation. What exactly are we going to buy at the auction?" He was indeed curious. The invitation was made of extremely precious metal, so the auction would not be simple. "Not old-time tea," Lin Xian said lightly. "What? Not old-time tea?" Countless martial artists exclaimed in shock. In the past month, the legend of not old-time tea had spread throughout the Tianwu continent. Warriors everywhere were talking about this magical spiritual tea. That was an injury that even a king could not heal, but it was healed by a cup of spiritual tea. This was too shocking. Therefore, everyone was asking about not old-time tea, but they could not find any specific information. They only knew that the spiritual tea would be auctioned soon. However, they did not expect to hear news about not old-time tea from Lin Xian. "I've heard of this spiritual tea. Its effect is amazing. It's worthy of an invitation made of starry blue gold." Villa Master Xia asked someone to take the invitation and put it away carefully. "Since young Master Lin has invited me, I'll definitely go personally. Not for anything else, but for old-time tea." Villa Master Xia planned to go there in person. Duan Li's face was gloomy. He did not expect Lin Xian to release such explosive news at this time. What kind of gift is this? It's just an auction qualification. It's not like you're giving not old-time tea to Villa Master Xia. Lin Xian, you're too stingy. Indeed, Lin Xian only gave an auction qualification, not old-time tea. Therefore, everyone thought that it was not as good as Duan Li's gift. However, Lin Xian shook his head lightly. Villa Master Xia, please forgive me. This is not old-time tea. I don't have much, so I can only auction it. However, I can briefly explain the effects of not old-time tea. First of all, long-term consumption can preserve one's youth and improve one's physique. It can also improve one's life level. Hearing this, everyone nodded slightly. They were not very shocked because there were other things in the Tianwu continent that could do these two things. However, they could not sit still anymore. Lin Xian continued, in addition, it can slow down aging. Even in the later years of a martial artist's life, they can still maintain their qi and blood without weakening. Maintain your combat strength and realm. What? Slow down aging? Maintain your realm and combat strength. Everyone exclaimed, and their eyes were filled with shock. The older generation figures in particular were all excited. This was because in the later years of a martial artist's life, their qi and blood would dry up and their realm would drop. Their strength would not be as strong as before. Sword Venerable was a good example. He was a half-step king back then, but in his later years he only had the strength and cultivation of an 8th heavenly layer venerable. It had to be said that it was truly a pity. However, it was not old-time tea that could solve this problem. This was really shocking. Those old men seemed to have been injected with chicken blood, their expressions abnormally excited. However, this was not the end. Lin Xian continued, the last point is the healing effect. As you all know, old-time tea can heal injuries that even kings can't. So, I don't need to tell you how precious it is, right? No need. No need. Young Master Lin, when exactly will the auction begin? Also, what's the use of that invitation card? Could it be that people without an invitation card can't enter? The group of old men were very excited and quickly asked. Old-time tea will be held at the Shui Yu Immortal Martial Auction on the 5th of next month. As for the invitation card, it's limited. Anyone who receives an invitation card can definitely participate in the auction. Moreover, they will all have VIP seats. As for those who don't receive an invitation card, they can also participate. Of course, this depends on luck. If you go late and don't have a seat, then I can only apologize. Hearing this, many people immediately became worried, especially the older generation figures, because old-time tea's effects were too shocking. Moreover, now that the whole continent knew about it, if they went late, they might really not be able to enter. Young Master Lin, do you still have an invitation card? Why don't you give me one? Young Master, name a price. How much is it? I'll buy it. Everyone asked, wanting to snatch an invitation card first to ensure that they had the qualifications to participate. Seeing this heated scene, Duan Li's face darkened and his teeth were about to shatter. Damn this guy, he's really pissing me off. Duan Li was about to go crazy because the great situation he created was actually resolved by Lin Xian with just a few words. Now, almost no one mentioned his 3 treasures anymore. Everyone was asking about old-time tea and the auction. Looking at the lively crowd, Lin Xian decisively shook his head. Sorry, my level is not high enough, so I won't give out invitations. Hearing this, everyone was depressed and wanted to vomit blood. This was too direct. Although they didn't have the strength and status of Villa Master Xia, they were still elders of big families and sections. Such a direct rejection made them want to find a hole to hide in. However, Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. The standard of this auction is higher than you think. Because at the auction, besides old-time tea, there will be a more precious and miraculous elixir than old-time tea. What? A more miraculous elixir than old-time tea? What is that? Everyone was confused because old-time tea was beyond their knowledge. Now, Lin Xian said that there was a more miraculous elixir than old-time tea. This made them unable to guess. Could it be the legendary divine elixir? Everyone guessed, but they quickly denied it. That kind of elixir hadn't appeared for thousands of years. How could it appear in the hands of a level 7 venerable? Seeing that everyone was guessing, Lin Xian said loudly, "Everyone, there's no need to guess. I've brought the elixir, and it's my gift to deity Sword Villa." "What? The mysterious elixir is for deity Sword Villa." Hearing this, everyone's jaws dropped. No wonder he didn't give old-time tea. It turned out that he was going to give a more precious elixir than old-time tea. "I knew it. Who is Lin Xian?" "He's the young master of Palace of Aries. How could his gift be bad?" Everyone was discussing excitedly. However, the Duan family's face was gloomy. Duan Li even said fiercely, "Nonsense. I want to see how you're going to deal with this later." He had already thought about it. As long as Lin Xian's elixir wasn't good or wasn't as good as his immortal golden elixir, he would taunt him endlessly and ask him to leave. Deity Sword Villa was also shocked. The first elder also asked in a low voice, "There's such an elixir in the world." "You'll know soon enough. However, I'm indeed giving this elixir to deity Sword Villa, but not to Villa Master Xia." "What? Not to Villa Master Xia?" For a moment, everyone was stunned. Chapter 1270. Today was Villa Master Xia's 1000th birthday, but Lin Xian said that the pill was not for Villa Master Xia. What was he doing? The great clan elder and the others' faces turned black because they felt that Lin Xian was playing with them. Villa Master Xia laughed. "If it's not for me, then who is it for?" "Who in deity Sword Mountain Villa can gain young Master Lin's favor?" "Sword Sovereign." Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, and he slowly spat out the two words. "What? Sword Sovereign?" Everyone was in an uproar, and on deity Sword Mountain Villa's side, Villa Master Xia, great clan elder, and the others' hearts were beating wildly. Especially Villa Master Xia. His entire body was emitting a shocking aura. He stared at Lin Xian. "Sword Sovereign Martial Uncle is not feeling well recently and can't come. Why don't you give it to me? I'll pass it to him." But Lin Xian shook his head decisively. "No, the pill must be handed to Sword Sovereign personally." "Don't worry. As long as I tell him the information of the pill, I guarantee that he will definitely come back." Everyone was even more confused, and Villa Master Xia also asked, "I wonder why Sword Sovereign must come personally. Is there something special about this pill?" Lin Xian said loudly, "It is indeed special, because this pill can increase a person's lifespan." Boom! The chair under Villa Master Xia cracked, and a shocking crack appeared on the ground. Because when he heard those words, he did not control his emotions, causing his aura to leak out, creating a terrifying aura. "What did you say? A pill that can increase lifespan?" Villa Master Xia's voice trembled. It was too shocking. He did not expect Lin Xian to say such shocking words. Not only him, all the warriors in the hall were in an uproar, because they had never heard of a pill that could increase lifespan. If it was true, then it was too shocking. Duan Li suddenly stood up and screamed, "Nonsense! How can there be a pill that can increase lifespan in this world?" "That's right, life and death, reincarnation, that's the heavenly Tao. What does a little kid like you know? How dare you boast so shamelessly?" The Duan clan's elder also snorted. They didn't believe there was any medicinal pill that could increase lifespan. That was something that had never appeared in the martial heaven continent. "Nothing is impossible. You don't know because you're ignorant. You're just a bunch of frogs at the bottom of a well. How would you know how vast the world is?" Lin Xian glanced at the Duan clan and sneered. However, after the commotion caused by the Duan clan, the others were all bewildered because this piece of news was too shocking, and they were unable to believe it. Even Villa Master Xia regained control of his emotions and asked in a deep voice, "Young Master Lin, is what you said true?" This matter was too important, and he had to get to the bottom of it. If it was true, then there was hope for the sword sovereign. Lin Xian took out a pill box from his storage ring and said in a clear voice, "This pill is called the longevity pill. It can increase your lifespan by 30 years. What? 30 years of life? Everyone's hearts trembled fiercely. They had originally thought that it would be good enough if they could only add 1 or 2 years, but they had never imagined that Lin Xian's words would be so shocking, adding 30 years in one go. Just say whatever you want. How do we know if it's true or not?" The Duan clan still did not believe it. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was rather confident. "Whether it's true or not, please ask Senior Sword Sovereign to come out and try it." "Humph. What kind of status does Senior Sword Sovereign have? If this pill of yours is poison, wouldn't that be taking his life?" Hearing this, Lin Xian stared at Duan Li. "Have you been kicked in the head by a donkey? What good will it do me if Sword Sovereign dies? Furthermore, this is the headquarters of Deity, Sword Villa. Do you think we can escape if Sword Sovereign dies? Calling you an idiot is already praising you. Hurry up and scram. Don't jump around in front of me. Otherwise, I'll slap you to death." Lin Xian warned Duan Li, then turned to look at Villa Master Xia. "I think Villa Master Xia should be clearer about Senior Sword Sovereign's condition. Are you really not willing to give it a try?" Lin Xian was rather confident. Not to mention these people's doubts, even if there was only a 1 in 10,000 chance, they would still give it a try. Sure enough, Villa Master Xia, the Great Elder, and some of the higher-ups quickly discussed and finally decided to give it a try. Sword Sovereign only had less than a month left to live. Even if the longevity pill didn't work, it was fine. If it worked, they would have profited. "Young Master Lin, please wait for a moment. I'll go and ask Junior Master Sword Sovereign." With that, Villa Master Xiao's body swayed and he rushed to the sky, flying towards the back mountain of Deity Sword Villa. Not long after, he returned, and there was an old man with him. However, when everyone saw the old man's figure, their hearts trembled violently. Because he was too old, no one dared to believe that this was the Sword Sovereign who had once dominated the continent. That old man's body was extremely thin, and only a layer of skin was left. His white hair had all fallen off, and his eye sockets were sunken. He looked like a skeleton. Not only that, but there was also a thick aura of death on his body. It seemed that Sword Sovereign wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. As expected, time was merciless. No matter how strong you were, you still couldn't escape death. Everyone couldn't help but feel sorrowful. Lin Xian looked solemn as he lamented in his heart. Even a peerless expert like Sword Sovereign couldn't escape the cycle of reincarnation. Perhaps even a king couldn't escape from it. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian felt that he still had a long way to go. He didn't want to end up like this in his old age. In front of him, Villa Master Xia and Sword Sovereign slowly landed on the ground. Although Sword Sovereign was extremely old, and there was a thick aura of death on his body, he was extremely excited at this moment. His sunken eye sockets emitted a shocking light. Because he had heard the news on his way here, he was even more shocked about the longevity pill. "Young Master Lin, do you really have the longevity pill?" Sword Sovereign's voice was low and hoarse, as if 2 pieces of metal were rubbing against each other. It was extremely ear-piercing. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "Yes, I do have it. It's in my hands. Don't worry, Senior Sword Sovereign. Today, I'll let you live for another 30 years. With that, Lin Xian waved his hand and threw the longevity pill in front of Sword Sovereign. Everyone's hearts trembled fiercely. Go against the heavens and live for another 30 years. If it was true, then this would be the most shocking thing in the history of Sky Martial Continent. The pill was the size of a longan fruit. It was pure white and emitted a mysterious aura. Martial Uncle. At the side, Villa Master Xia wanted to say something, but the Sword Reverend struck out. That skeletal hand of his grabbed the longevity pill and swallowed it, not to mention 30 years. Even if it could increase his life by a year, a month, or even if it was poison, he wouldn't hesitate to swallow it. Because he was already standing on the edge of death, there was nothing worse than this. Seeing Sword Sovereign swallow the longevity pill, everyone's hearts were in their mouths. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.